Monday, baby. Here we are. Football Monday. As we roll towards the Cincinnati Bengals and a full slate of exhibition games this weekend. Absolutely awesome. Good afternoon to you. The one and only Big Sills, where one show is truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. You know what the Big Sills way is? You get a voice here on this program. Whether you're a piece of shit like LJ or you are an astute football person, you have a place here on the Big Sills Show. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top as this show, once again, as we roll in to the NFL season, baby. We are getting here. We are like ramping up. You know, you're making that turn onto the runway, and you're just getting ready to go up, and you're getting ready to take off. I thought the Hall of Fame ceremonies were awesome. Eric Allen gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. How about that one stat I still can't wrap my head around? Okay? How about this? I mean, Antonio Gates never in a million years played college football, and he's the first person inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame having never played football at the college level. That is utterly insane. Utterly insane that guy's the first. Kudos to Marty Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer, somebody told him when he was the head coach of the San Diego Chargers, and somebody told him that there was this kid at Kent State who wanted to try to play football. And get this, not only is that guy a Hall of Famer, I did not realize he had more touchdown catches than Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez, and Travis Kelce. That is absolutely amazing for a guy who never played a college down in his life. That guy walks right into Canton. Kudos, man. I thought all the speeches were great. I did. I thought it was a great weekend to kick us up and get ready for the 2025 exhibition season. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Oh, and by the way, you know that conversation we had last week about Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons? This thing's fucking playing out the way exactly I said it would. Nothing's changed. Everything's the same. This is kind of how we do business. And I was never debating whether or not Micah Parsons didn't have a bitch. It's irrelevant. It's an irrelevant bitch. Micah Parsons is not going anywhere. Nor is Terry McLaurin. If you're trying to chase the Eagles down, and you're the Cowboys, and you're the Commanders, getting rid of fucking good people is how you're going to do it? Explain that to me. Explain that. Who in their right mind believes that those two players are leaving and going anywhere? You would have to be a buffoon or somebody that believes that Reed Blankenship will have his contract before the start of the NFL season. Bang! I told you they're going to wait till next March. You guys were trying to tell me the whole time you moved the goalpost 16 different fucking times. No, you did not know that. I told you they were going to wait till next March like they did with Zach Bond. I know what you're saying, James. No offense to Sterling Sharp. Torrey Holt has more impressive numbers. Isaac Bruce has more impressive numbers. Reggie Wayne has more impressive numbers. I'm with you, man. Sterling Sharp. Hey, get this. Real quick, guys. So Sterling Sharp got the benefit of the voters that they were going to put. How about this? Think about what they did. The voters gave him the benefit of the doubt that he would have continued that career and the career path he was on without having to do it. That's basically what they did. Hey, they said, well, listen, this guy's a really great player for 7 years, 5 to 7 years. Then they gave him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, okay, he's probably going to do that. Sterling Sharp got credit for things he didn't do. How about that? He got credit for things he hadn't done. I don't get that. That's right, RC3, Tyreek Hill's better. I agree 100%. All right. So let's finish up here with Jerry. Jerry Jones, status quo business. They're going to make him the highest paid edge rusher in pro football. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to do the one thing that Jerry does win at. They're going to give him a diminished signing bonus. Jerry Jones does the opposite of Howie. If you look at the signing bonuses, Josh Allen got more. Trevor Lawrence got more. Joe Burrow got more on guaranteed money than Dak did. Do you know that? Jerry's paying him $60. But Jerry paid him all less. Also CD. All the wide receivers' money that came up. Guess what? All the money that came up. At the end of the day, Jones paid less and, get this, had 4 voidable years on the back end of his contract. So Dak's got 4 voidable years, and they gave him on a percentage less money when it came to signing bonus. How's that for you? Even my boy Stevie knows that that's fucking great. How you doing? Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. We appreciate. He was a great ball player, Sterling Sharp. All right. So A.J. Brown hurt again? Is that right? A.J.'s hurt again. Damn. How old is A.J. Brown now? Let me see here. Let me take a look at something here with A.J. Brown being injured again. Let's see here. A.J. Brown. Here we go. A.J. So let's see here. Last year he missed 4 games, I think. There you go. Last year he missed 4. So he missed 4 games. And in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years, how many games has this guy missed? 4, 1, 4. So he's missed 9 games, 10 counting that playoff game against the Bucs. He's missed 10 games. That's about 3 games a year. How old is this guy? He's 27. Not horrible. So he's still good. We're good. Stevie! I'll tell Stevie to shut up. That's why I have my boy with me, man. We are good. He's the boy wonder. How about that? So AJ's injured again. All right. A little hamstring. I'm probably thinking it's nothing. It's okay, right? It's probably nothing. All right? Yeah. I'm sure it'll work out great. How's that back? You all right? All right. Sills, that's what makes Howie stand out. He front loads as much as he can so that he has flexibility when he needs it later. I'll tell you what, Bob, the reason that Jerry doesn't pay big money up front and guarantees is so he can bail quicker when he wants to move off of something. That's a fact. So there's 2 sides of this. I agree with Howie's way. Okay? I do. I agree with Howie's way. Let him know, Stevie. Thank you, Bob. Or thank you, Khalid. So Jerry's way is if I pay him less in guarantees, I can bail on it more. Okay? Here you go trying to start shit. Well, he's missing practice, but it's not important. None of us concerned at all. All NFL superstars sit. They have a broken nail during camp. That's what you do. All right. He's a superstar. He gets the chance to sit back. I don't have a problem with that. No problem. Absolutely not. He's just banged up again. No biggie. I'm with you. Hey, are you crazy? How in the world would I, Dan Sileo, ever question A.J. Brown and the revolving emotions of A.J. Brown? Never in a million years would I go there. Drop him in week 1. Let's go tee it up and let's go play the Cowboys for 60 minutes. Not a problem. I'm with you there. Hit the like button. All right, guys, let's get to the first topic here. So again, you know what? I'm going to do something here today. And I actually like that little exercise. I actually like that little exercise I did last week with that ESPN guy who I have absolutely no way of seeing the game like he does. But I like the fact of how the Eagle media covers the team. So he wrote this down for today's practice. I looked at it and I was like, Jalen Hurts training camp starts day 9. Okay, 9th day. Hurts in the first team offense needed a win after a rough first few days. And they got it today on Monday. Wow, look at that. This guy's saying that the offense has sucked for 8 days and they needed a win. Wow. I'm not there. I didn't write this shit. Man. By the way, courtesy of Elliot Spitzer Shore Parks. So here, then we started again. Jalen Hurts training camp starts day 9. Hurts in the first team offense needed a win after a rough first few days. They got it today on a Monday. Hurts was clutch in situational football versus the first team defense. In a series of drills on Monday, it was offense versus D. If the offense got a first down, they got a point. If the defense got a stop, they got a point. I actually like this shit here. I dig this. This is good, man. Competitive competition here. I like it without trying to get each other killed. It was 3-3 after 6 drills, sending it to overtime. So wait a minute. That new look, 5 new starter defense went toe-to-toe with your offense? And this guy thinks that's a win? It was 3-3 after 6 drills, sending it to the decisive overtime drill. And the first team offense back on the field. Hurts dropped back, hit Devontae across the middle for a first down, getting the offense the win and sending the sideline into a frenzy. People going crazy because they haven't seen it all camp. Hurts falling all over himself, but not today on this fabulous Monday where the offense seemingly struck back. I added that bullshit. And another additional situation. A situational drill, the Eagle offense faced 3rd down on their own 2-yard line. The Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts, the man, the face of Jordan, as Xander would say. The man who was around with Michael Jordan chopping it up on winning. Dropped back in his own end zone. Once again hit Smith on a fresh set of downs. Win for the offense. The offense has been close to putting together a great practice the last few days, but hasn't been able to do it in the final parts of the practices. Today was a great day. Monday, they got the throws and plays they needed to lock up a great day and a win over the off defense. Jalen Hurts gets an A for the day. That's how one reporter saw it today. Good. Okay. All right. They're playing situational football. Okay, you know who won the day with that report? Hurts. Jalen won the day. And hey, and for the record, I don't really care about statistics in this, and I don't care what I care that you're getting a good feel and your eyeball is going like this. Hey, offense is starting to pick up situational play calling now. Maybe the coordinator and the quarterback, the center, the whole line, everybody is starting to feel it and starting to put it together here. So it was a good day today for the O. Good. Dude, I want them ramping up, not them fumbling around. If they get out of the gate and they're shitting the bed, so what? I mean, as long as they're getting better on a week-to-week basis and a day-to-day basis, who gives a shit, right? Big Sills, James Earl Jones of the play-by-play. Oh, boy. Conan the Barbarian. He was great in that one, too. That's right. Al Saddam. Hey, man, they had a better day. That's for sure. I love it. By the way, the players spoke. Vic spoke. And we go to the next topic. So congratulations. Offense had a good start to exhibition week. Okay? So here we go. August 4th. Captain's log. Start date. 2:21 Eastern Standard Time. I have to put this in my log. Kelee Ringo is struggling in training camp. How do you feel about it? He's struggling. Kelee Ringo struggling in camp. It's almost every day now. It's almost every day that he's struggling. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? I told you Dory Jackson will beat that dude out. Vic had some better things to say about him today, too. You're right. It's no big deal because he's going to get beat out. Was it me or did I hear Fangio say Cooper at safety? Yes, you did hear that. Cooper's kind of boring when he sits behind the mic, but I listened to it. Eduardo. Hate to see it, but you got to let the better players start. How about this? Does Eli Ricks have a shot? Yeah, he's put himself in there. What? Do you understand the more names you hear, the bad and the worse it is for Kelee Ringo? You understand that, right? The more names you hear, it's better for the unit. But the more names you hear, the worse it is for Ringo. He's further away. The more names you hear. You're not closing the gap on winning the job. You're giving others opportunity to win it. Hey, you want to hear this? Kelee Ringo may be the best athlete out there of anybody, and it's not close. That don't mean he can play the position. He makes too many mistakes, man. Now, I think that's a rep thing. That he needs more reps. So I think you're going to see that kid's ass in training camp during the organized team scrimmages with the Bengals. And I think you're going to see a ton of football this week with this dude. I do. All right. He's losing his job, Junior. Keep wishing. Keep praying. Keep hoping. He's struggling in camp. By the way, that Makuba kid, I mean, has he practiced? How much has that guy practiced? How much is Makuba practiced? Anybody tell me? Was he on the field today? Was Makuba on the field? I mean, was he on the field? I don't need to see preseason games. Hey, Joe Burrow's playing this week, too. Burrow's going to be out there, and he's going to be playing. You're going to get good reps and quality reps versus Joe Burrow. Sydney's ready. Okay. Makuba has practiced shoving water ice down his throat. Okay. Sales Ringo getting burnt again. No way. Hey, Slay, Ringo will replace him. It won't be that much of a drop-off. Yeah, okay. Gardner Johnson looks like it's a huge drop-off. This defense has never played against Joe Burrow. This defense has never played against him. What are you talking about? This group of Eagle guys have never played against them. A couple players on that team have. But this defense has not played against that guy as a unit. What the fuck are you talking about? The Eagle defense owns Joe Burrow. Not this defense. They've never played against him. The fuck are you talking about? The senior would make you think, okay, that this defense here has played against Joe Burrow. Bullshit take by you, fuckhead. Absolutely. Eagle defense owns them. Okay. Not Keely Ringo. I can promise you that. I guess you're glazing Burrow. Burrow's the best passer in the game, yes. Glazing? No. Facts. Vic said Sidney Brown needs to polish a little bit, and he could be another level to his game. Well, that means he's not there. Ringo struggles because he's late getting, that's right, he can't turn his hips. He's not been able to do that. He needs to loosen up the hips. Absolutely. Bob, he can't track very well. He cannot track very well. I think he has problems with crossing routes also. He gets lost back there. Ricks and Ring are almost opposite players. Ricks has great ball skills, but isn't a great athlete. And Ringo's a freak athlete with bad ball skills. I don't want to say JD3's got bad ball skills when it comes to covering a wide receivers yet, because I want to see him get more reps. Okay? I want to see him get more opportunities. Let's see here. You think Ringo's out of position? Ringo, to me, could be possibly a safety. Maybe. Maybe that'd be something that you could put him in. Try him out at that position. Vic moves people all over the joint. I think you got a problem at corner. That so far is your biggest issue. Safety? I don't know. I would make this point to you at safety. Sidney looks like he's starting to rear his head above the other guys. Not a lot. I said it before to you. I think Tristan McCullum is still in that. I think he's still in that conversation. He mentioned him again today. Ringo, only problem is he's not tracking the ball in the air. He struggles at that. I'm talking about only way Ringo's getting beat because he loses the ball and the side of the ball. That's right on. That is absolutely right on. He can't track. That's why he's not been able to get on the field. This is the reason why I think Ringo's not in position. Safety's fine, corner's a problem. There's no doubt. I completely agree. Okay? I've been gone for a week. What have we been doing with Cooper this last week? Moving him all over the place. There is no question. How about this? Do we not agree? Who's going to be more vital to the defense's success? Jalen Carter? Q? Cooper? Or Bond? Who will be the most important person, in your opinion? Seals, could it be that Ringo feels pressure playing at corner? No, because Ringo right now is self-inflicting himself with poor mistakes that he's making. Okay? Well, here, Carter. You know what's crazy about this comment? So Jalen Carter goes down. Jordan Davis can't carry the weight of the defensive line and the defensive tackles for a while until the kid gets back or if they lose him, and you drafted him 13th. And you can't count on him at all. You can't count on him if Jalen Carter gets hurt. I think that answers everything you need to know about Jordan Davis. You're telling me that guy can't carry the mail? Okay, no problem. Let me write that down. Jalen Carter is the most important person on that defense. And if he goes down, the run defense goes down. Is that right? Okay. Here's why Bond's important in that pass coverage. Q's going to be traveling with the best wideout on the field. Something that Vic hasn't done. Now we know. And I'll ask this question one more time. I asked Xander it, and I'll ask you now. Is he traveling Q because he has only one corner? Or is he traveling Q because that's the best position for him? Which is it? Which is it? Is he traveling Q because you don't have a second corner? Q didn't travel last year because you had Slay. Why now? Why now? Why now? Best position? So, Kim, the best position a year ago was not to have him travel and you won the Super Bowl. But now it's the best position. How come in the year you were the number one ranked defense, he didn't travel? He didn't travel on the number one ranked defense. Now he is. Why? Why? Just a question. I think he's traveling because you don't have another corner. Or how about this? He's traveling because you don't have a more experienced corner. Let's just go there. If you want to do that, that's fine. Okay? Because there's not enough depth at the corner. Now, I agree with this, Drew. Drew, that sounds right. Because he was a rookie too. Sure. Was a new defense? Okay. Taking Q over Sauce, that's why. Sauce is a lockdown corner. He's a man corner. Two different positions. Depends. If Q stays to field side, then we only have one field corner and one boundary corner. Great take. It's an absolutely great take. This is not true. He was not so-so. The only problem that we had with Slay last year, was that he was in and out of the lineup sometimes. He still played a shitload of reps. Because Ringo sucks, bro. Just cut to the chase. I know you got I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm talking about the corner position, guy. I'm not just talking about Ringo. Dude, this conversation is not about Ringo. It's about your corner spot. They rank Q ahead of Coop. Okay. He's a corner. Nickel is not going to be ranked ahead of a corner. The importance on the field. Everyone knows that. Do you not? Do you think nickel is more important than corner? It's not. Or safety? Safety and nickel compared to cornerbacks are two different people. I'll tell you, let me ask you this one here. What's turning out to be a bigger loss, Gardner Johnson or Slay? Thanks, Prince. Thanks, Prince. Appreciate that, bro. Who's turning out to be a bigger loss right now? Before we're going to do this each week. Slay, Milton, Josh, CJ, Slay, Milton, Josh Sweat, and CJ. Okay? Who's turning out to be a bigger loss so far? It's coming down to CJ and Slay as of August 4th, right? I think it's Slay. I'm with Kimberly. Oh, by the way, where's that Reed Blankenship contract? First exhibition game coming up this week. Thursday, is it? Where is it? I've been told it's on his desk. Where is it? So, first week of the season. Too early to tell? Really? That's why I said I'm going to ask it every week. I think it's Slay right now. I don't think you have a second corner at all. Oh, so wait a minute. Let's see here. End of the season now. Okay. That's what I said. I said that too, March, before free agency. They'll come to him. Yeah. Slay, because now Vic can't play multiple coverages at the back end. Dude, so true. You can't disguise coverages now if you travel. How are you disguising coverages? One guy's going to tip it off, man zone. Remember, if he comes back to the middle of the field and then goes back, what is that? That's zone. If he goes across the field completely, the quarterback reads man. Simple. You'll be able to see that right away. You're kind of telegraphing your secondary when you do that. Now, I'm very convinced that he's going to have disguises. And then he added Eli Ricks into it. Right? All right, guys, hit that like button here. All right. So I want to go to Vic here. So Keely Ringo's struggling. You can move players to safety, but not to corner. Completely true. So Twiz is answering his own question. How don't you know Slay was about to fall off the cliff? It's better to get rid of a player a year earlier than later. We've seen Bradbury fall off. You're right. Twiz, that's a good take. That was a Belichick beauty. He got rid of players before they were out of gas, so there was value to them. You're right. That's a great, yes, that's a right take. Okay, that's a right take. You want to move off of guys with a plan, knowing full well, again, at the end of the day, that guy may still have some value when you're talking about trading the guy. I completely agree with that. Seals, the bigger issue between Slay and CJ depends on where you throw Coop. If Coop stays in the slot, they're both an issue right now. But if he goes to safety, okay, then who plays the slot? Then you get inexperience in the slot, don't you? Or at the nickel? Bob, who you playing there? Mac McWilliams? Do you put Ringo in there? He's kind of built like Cooper. Maybe that's a spot for him. I don't think he sucks as a player. I just think he has no experience. As we said, you're putting a guy in a starting position, and I said it the entire offseason. John McMullen said it wasn't a big deal. He couldn't beat fucking Isaiah Rodgers out. Now he wasn't better than Isaiah Rodgers. Do you not see that? Sidney, you give him a pass because he was injured, and you don't know how good he is yet. So I can't make that assessment on him. But Keely Ringo couldn't fucking beat out Isaiah Rodgers. And you're trying to tell me that he's better now? How? Vic passed him over. Hey, Tristan McCullum got more reps at safety position than anybody on the field right now. Do you know that? Think of this. Anybody that you have right now play more reps than Tristan McCullum at safety outside of Reed? Is there anybody on the team that's played more in that position for the Eagles than what McCullum has played? Maybe I missed one. Is there? Do you have a guy on your team that's played more reps at safety than Tristan McCullum that played on your defense the last couple years? Sidney Brown didn't play that much last year. He was injured. Okay? Here's Twiz. Twiz, moving Coop to safety will create holes we haven't seen him play it before. I'm sure he can do it, but it's unproven. Yeah, I'm not going to go off the cliff, Twiz, on that, because I think the kid can play multiple positions. My question is, do you put him at a harder position? Maybe you don't get the production you would get and the volume of plays if you keep him in the nickel. Is he more likely to make big plays in the – how about this? Ask yourself this on Cooper. Do you think that Cooper DeJean will make more plays in the nickel or at the safety or corner? I think it's in the nickel because I think he's more comfortable in the nickel. Sills, I disagree. Vic had traveling cornerbacks. Not here, he didn't. I'm not talking about Denver. Surtain was a fucking special and is a special player. He still had decides coverages, which is not predicted on that. Okay, how about this? Or not predicated, excuse me. How about this, Prince? I'm talking about this group, not Denver's group. Denver also had another good corner up there. And their defense is really good. That defense may be a top 3 defense in Denver because of Surtain. And remember, he's a man corner. He's not a zone corner. That's more likely when you get man to travel, not zone corners traveling. Okay, I guess. Surtain's press corner. Plain and simple. Okay? Plus, they had multiple guys in the secondary. Let's see here. Faxils, he's a linchpin in the middle. He's an extra backer with coverage skills. Hey, did you see what he said? I'm going to get to him. But let me get over to let me get to Vic. Guys, hit the like button, please. Let me get to Vic Fangio. Okay. Let's get to what Vic said. Eli Ricks is in the mix. He's in the mix. That is not good for Kelee Ringo. The more names you hear, the less chances you have of winning that position or being, guess what, substituted for. They may do that second cornerback position by committee. And whoever playing the best, they may go with him. And I'm going to show you something else that's not a good sign for Kelee Ringo. He was asked about Adoree Jackson. He likes where he is. And he likes what he's doing. That's a far cry from where that conversation has come from. I like where he is, and I like what he's doing. That guy's winning that job. But they don't want him to win that job. They want some of the younger players on the roster to win that job. Where would you rather have inexperience, at safety or nickel? I still want Cooper to be on the field somewhere. Sidney has experience from the 23 season. I think you can hide people at safety. You can't hide a corner. You're on an island. It's you and the dude, and you're one-on-one. If you're in the zone, you got too high. That helps, obviously. But corner, man, and you got to run backwards. I always tell folks this. You want to know how hard that position is to play? Find the fastest guy that lives next to you. Have him line up in front of you, you facing him, and you got to run backwards for 15 yards. And you got to do that 70 times without getting beat running backwards. You tell me how hard you think that is. It's really the only position on the field where you're going backwards. Is playing corner. Right? Outside of the quarterback dropping back, the only other position that you play where you run backwards is corner. So, I mean, that's a tough-ass position to play. We need preseason games, he says, to kind of figure this out. He doesn't think what they're doing right now is real football. I got to figure this out, he said. And we need some quality reps. Well, I think Burrow's going to play a series. He thinks Kelee one day will be a good tackler. How many years he been in the league now? How many years has Kelee Ringo been on the Eagles? Somebody answered, was that 3? Is it 3 years? He's been on the Eagles? And one day he thinks he'll be a good tackler. Okay? Tristan McCullum has to eliminate mistakes. He knows what to do. He just needs to limit mistakes. I got to tell you, if that guy did the right things more, he's your starting safety. But there's a trust factor there. Okay, so get this. Got 3 years. And he thinks he could be a good tackler. Whew. How about this one here with Ty Robinson? Whew. Is this guy falling back? Thomas Booker, I have more hopes for. Ty Robinson, no way. He's getting blocked in practice. He can't get off blocks, and he's struggling. But then again, look at where he was drafted. I mean, I get it. Josh Sweat was there, but Josh Sweat was a 4th rounder. And folks, why was Josh Sweat a 4th rounder? Does anybody know? Why was he a 4th rounder and not a 1st rounder? Why is that? That Josh Sweat didn't go in the 1st round. Booker was good last year. Okay? The injury in high school. The injury in high school that he hurt his knee. He's the only reason that Josh Sweat wasn't a 1st-round pick is because of that car accident he had at FSU prior to getting into FSU. Okay? Still, the problem with Ringo, not only he hasn't started in 3 years, but we traded a 3rd pick for him. Dude, I mean, I get it. And, I mean, you're adding another guy in Eli Ricks to the conversation now. Sills, you just said it. You can hide someone at safety. That's where Ringo needs to be. Jackson, Ricks battle out CB2. Coop helps protect Ringo from the slot. And you mean to tell me you don't have anybody competent back there that can play in that other cornerback 2 spot? You're not prepared. Who's going to win that job? Adoree Jackson? You're back to the James Bradbury situation. A guy who was cut is going to win that job from the Giants too? That's who wins that job? A guy who was cut, not on the roster. Doesn't sound like very well planned out. Right? That doesn't sound very planned out. I think of all people that could figure that out, it will be Vic Fangio. I think he'll figure this out. I think they want him on the team. Okay? Let's see here. What does that have to do with the NFL? What does that have to do with the NFL? College football. And by the way, just because you're on the team doesn't mean you're good. It means you're there because they might think you're good. And that's all he has. And that's all they're going by right now. They think he can be good. So at this point, who can we get at cornerback for real? I listen, I don't think anybody. I think I'm going to, if I have to go and put Coop. By the way, let me finish this here. He loves the fact that he's mixing people up. And I loved what he said today, which was so great and so Vic Fangio. He does multiple combinations of guys. A guy could be on the first team, a guy could be on the third team. They're going to go in rotation 1 week or a couple practices, and they're going to put him. This is so fucking well done. Okay? He'll practice Trotter with Baun. He'll practice Baun when he's playing. I know he's injured. With Munden. He'll put Campbell and Trotter together. Okay? Yeah, Marshall, that, my opinion, the only reason he didn't go in the first 2 rounds. Josh Sweat. Completely true. I will say this again. Make no mistake about it. That's kind of what Vic does. He goes, I'll put those. And he said this today at the press conference. He goes like this. You never know when combinations of guys are getting hurt, when you're going to have to play next to that guy. So I want that guy to be familiar with playing next to one another. We may be in a game where it might be Trotter and Campbell, or it might be Baun and Munden, or Baun and Trotter. You just never know. It's a brilliant way to coach. It really is. It's a brilliant way to look at it. Him and Jeff Stoutland do such a great job with that stuff at preparing guys to get reps. No mistake about it. These guys have no clue what they're talking about. Ringo's our starting cornerback. This problem is locating the ball. Well, the first 4 weeks, Prince, that's going to be a problem when you're playing against elite quarterbacks where you can't track the ball and find the ball against Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford. That's going to be a problem. You don't think? You don't think that's a problem if you can't locate the football in the air? Eli Ricks is not the second best corner on the team, he says. Neither is Keely Ringo. It's Adoree Jackson. He's the best corner on your team. Let's finish up with Vic here. Jihad Campbell, he said something interesting. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. All supers go to the top. Do me a favor, guys. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. Get this. That ain't fixable when your guy's not good. Carter said they have him moving around D-line. Yes. Why? To try to get away from double teams because you have lesser talent on the D-line. Makes sense. They're going to move him to the weaker guard for a reason. You think what? Moro Ajomo and Jalix Hunt are going to limit the double teams? That's Sweat and Milton Williams. He still took double teams on with those guys. But these new dudes are going to limit doubles on Carter, right? Not happening. Imagine Parsons added to the Denver defense. That ain't happening. Stop. Michael Parsons is not being traded. It's the stupidest conversation you could ever have. I don't give a fuck what he cries about and how much he moans on social media and how much people think he's got a right to. It's irrelevant. This is how Jerry does business. You don't like it? Too bad. You're going to get your money. And then guess what? You'll shut your fucking mouth and go play. That's what's going to happen. Jerry's this, Jerry's that. Well, thank you for telling us the obvious. We know that already. You're reiterating to me something I already know. I know how he does business. It's like some epiphany to you guys. Oh, I think Jerry, let everybody know how Jerry negotiates contracts. Tell me this. What is different from Micah Parsons' contract negotiations from Dak or CD? Nothing. It's the same shit. Different player. You're acting like this is some fucking unbelievable news that this is how, Micah should tell everybody, we know this. He takes players off the field, brings them into his office, has a powwow with them because he hates fucking Jay-Z. All right? Jerry Jones has no filter. He doesn't care. You missed the whole point. Once again, players bitching means nothing to him. He doesn't care. Well, it's not right. Who fucking cares if it's right? Is it right? You're going to bark at the owner of the team who has complete control of you and where you go or what you do. You know what Jones could do if he wanted to be a complete dickhead? He could send you to the fucking Titans. Let them do it. Let them do it. Go ahead. Send him to the abyss. It's not what he wants. Okay, I mean, great. Look at this. Look at this guy's take. So let us call Jerry out on his whatever. He keeps doing it, so we keep calling him out on it. It's no hair off our ass in the long run. Yeah, I think he has the same mentality you do, Reyes. He doesn't give a fuck what you think either. Call him out? Great. Remember, you're the one talking about him. He ain't talking about you, son. He don't know your name. He don't know my name. Look, I don't know. But anyway, whatever. Sills, the difference is that Parsons opens up his mouth and tells the world what's going on behind closed doors. Lamb and Dak stayed quiet. Parsons wants the attention as much as the money. Yeah, because he's Mr. Podcast. I'll say it one more time. He's a fine ball player. Generational? That's a joke. When you see Michael Parsons, do you see TJ Watt? Do you see TJ Watt in that guy? Do you see Myles Garrett? When you see him, do you see that? How about Von Miller in his prime? You guys see Von Miller in his prime? I don't. I mean, do you really see that? Like, use your eyeball test. Dude, if you're a Philly fan, you've got to love that Jerry Jones is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. All right? Jerry will sign it. He will. Here, this is not a true statement. Except his way or delaying contracts further ensures the Cowboys will never. I'll tell you something that you will have to start looking at. Jerry Jones gives less guaranteed money. True, he gives more people more money when it comes to base salaries. But CeeDee Lamb got less money than Jamar Chase. He got less money than pretty much every single one of the top receivers in guaranteed cash. Dak did too. Got less than Trevor Lawrence. Got less than Josh Allen. And he's making 60. It's so Jerry can get out of the contract. He's got voidable years at the back end of those contracts too, so that money's bullshit at the end also. He moves off these guys. So if there's a problem, he could trade them or move. He doesn't give big sign. I know now where that's coming from. Jerry wants Eagles penalized for giving signing bonus money. And the Eagles have figured it out. Well, they had to get rid of some players this year to set up the next couple of years. But they figured it out as good as anybody else in the league. Okay? But remember this, Jerry doesn't give big signing bonuses. He'll give you a base. Dak makes 60. Well, here, figure this out. Dak Prescott's brand new contract that's paying him 60. He's getting $230 million in guarantees. Jalen Hurts signed his contract and he got $179 million, $180 million. Okay? $180 million. That was 2 years ago. So Jerry doesn't pay signing bonuses. Now, I think that hurts when they have to let loose players, especially players that still have something left in the tank. No, Kim, Steven's a little bit more level-headed when it comes to decision-making. Yes, he's a little more level-headed. Let me get back to Vic here. He said something about Jihad Campbell. He said that he thinks that he put a lot on his table. And he's kind of concerned about that. I'll tell you something, man. That is quite that is an absolute feather in Jihad Campbell's hat. Let me ask you this. Why do I feel Jihad Campbell's ahead of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean this year compared to a year ago? Why do I feel he's ahead of them? I mean, don't you feel that same way? When you hear Vic say, I'm concerned because I'm giving him too much, that's the ultimate compliment for a young player, because he wants to see this guy on the field excelling because he thinks he's got something special. You don't give more responsibilities to players that you don't think are going to contribute. And now you've got, I don't really think he's going to play a lot out there at edge. I really don't. I don't see that. But he made that comment. How about this one here, what he made about Cooper? What about Cooper at corner? Yeah, I don't know. Put him out there. Yeah, we're moving him around out there. I think he could play it. But we're just going to have to wait and see. They're waiting to see how the roster shakes out, where their biggest need is. Okay? So that's great stuff. It really is. So why do I feel that Jihad Campbell's ahead of those other two of a year ago? I thought he was given the starting assignment right away, and he never looked back. Cooper, the injury again, what was it, a hamstring? He didn't come in until after the bye, as a starter. So, maybe that would have altered that a little bit. But let me ask you this. Don't you feel that he's ahead of the pace of a year ago? Boy, I do. I think Jihad Campbell's ahead of the pace here. Dual threat, we need a list of possible cornerbacks we could sign or trade for, and then create our wish list as a unit. I would make this point to you. Nobody's just going to give up a cornerback on August 4th. They're just not going to do that. That's not going to happen. Cowboy fan. Trey, nobody brings him up, only you. F your aunt. Okay, I have no idea where you're at here and who you're talking about. Jerry Jones is signing Micah Parsons. He's not going anywhere. That is not happening. Seals, Vic said the same thing about Q last year, putting a lot on his plate and was able to do it. Okay. Hey, it just seems to me, because you got him at edge too, and you're doing some things at edge with him. Right? Right? Seals, do you believe that with the athletic ability of Campbell and Munden, they could patrol the middle to help if we take Coop out of the nickel? I'll tell you this. I wouldn't be shocked one day if their eyesight is on Campbell and Trotter, maybe being the starting linebackers in 2 years. I don't know. Trotter's having a camp. It's being overshadowed by Campbell. Okay? It's just being overshadowed on how well he's played. So let me get to Kevin Petula, who spoke on Sunday, I believe. It was Sunday, right? Nothing really eye-opening here. They're working on stuff in the red zone. They don't really get together, D coordinator, O coordinator, and scheme against one another. So there wasn't really anything that really came out of that Kevin Petullo conversation from Sunday. Saquon Barkley, on the other hand, I thought Barkley had some pretty damn good comments here. So let me get to this. So Barkley's a shit talker. Barkley's a shit talker. Penn State kid, a shit talker. All right. All right. Says he loves talking trash and competing. I love that shit. I do too. I think you can have a lot of fun out there creating a lot of dialogue back and forth, and I don't mind that. I actually like shit talking. I think that's great. I posted one of the greatest shit talking lines in my entire career. One of my famous lines. Let me see if I'll bring this up. This was the week of the game, and people were like asking me questions. And back then, I didn't give a shit. Now, you can't do this stuff today because it's public. And here, this was in the Miami Herald. Oklahoma has the most overrated player, Brian Bosworth, in the country. And he's playing on the most overrated defense. It's going to take a team like us to shut this guy's mouth. I actually said on the sidelines there, I said prior to the game, I said, shut his fucking mouth. Defensive tackle Dan Sileo. It's the number 2 Hurricanes will take on the number 1 OU. I used to say that shit all the time. It didn't matter for me. I did that stuff all through the week. What, you think sports talk radio? That's not where I got shit talking from. I've been talking shit my entire. Hey, I loved what he said though about Brandon. He said Brandon Graham's shit talking is annoying because he just doesn't shut up. He just doesn't shut up. He just keeps barking. Fucking classic. I mean that, right? What's this? That's shit talking? That's terrible. Hey, Prince, name me another college kid that talks shit on players and people and teams that they're going to play that Saturday. Name me one. Name me one Alabama guy in Nick's 14 years talk shit on a teammate, on a team or a player prior to playing. Name me one. Name me one that talked shit before they played him. You talk shit after. Not me. I talked shit before. I'm going to fuck that guy up. You want to knock on Big Sil's door? You better open it. You better be prepared. How you doing? Whoa! All right. So Barkley's a trash talker. I like it. I like his leadership too. Campbell talked shit on who? What team did he talk shit on prior to playing them? Baker. Baker did. Kansas. Baker Mayfield did. Okay? Thank you. Hey, Kim, you're awesome. Kim, you're awesome. Hey, Prince, and you make no sense. Your takes are fucking the worst. The worst. At least I got quoted. Big Sills always gets quoted, though. Because we're Big Sills. How you doing? Hit that fucking like button. Appreciate all of you coming aboard. Big Z at the bottom. By the way, we are working on Anthony Munoz this week. Anthony Munoz to come on and talk some Bengal football. Who you got in the fight, Sills? Jilly or Johnny 8-Ball? I'm not going with anybody named 8-Ball. How you doing? Jones is like P.T. Barnum. There is no such thing as bad publicity. Curbs the Cowboys relevant in the news, even if the team isn't very good. Matra, Latino Ferno. Absolutely true. Okay? Never muted in your head, my good friend. Never. I don't know what's wrong with I got everything rolling here. Everything's good. Yeah, we're good. How you doing? Okay. So let's go to Jeremiah Trotter. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Was a good friend of mine. And I like Trotter. Trotter had a little bit of he's a little intimidating. He got up there with the mic with them big guns. He started talking football. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd like, he had a little intimidation going on there. I like it. Okay. Sales, Prince, I'm only busting your stones, man. You got great takes. Did you hear what he said about trash talking Jalen Carter? It's pretty funny. I didn't, bro. I didn't. Let's see here. No, dude, I won your girlfriend in an 8-ball game. I turned her upside down, and it says, "Spot is here." I won your chick in an 8-ball game. I turned the magic 8-ball over, and there was your chick. Oh, wow. Okay. That's how good that was. I won your chick in an 8-ball game. Oh, man. I like Trotter, though, dog. I thought it was good. Hey, Twiz. Magic 8-ball. I won his girlfriend. What does she look like? You want to face by a clock? Okay. Again, she's got big cans. Okay, that's a start. Okay, good. Yeah. I won his girlfriend in an 8-ball game. How you doing? It's all good. Yeah, man, I like Trotter. Trotter had a good presser there, man. He was, you know what I hate is that the media guys, the worst thing that they do is this. How's it feel to play next to Jihad Campbell? You know, can I tell you what they're thinking? Once you ask questions about me, what it's like for him to play next to me, why are you asking that? Because you don't give a shit about Trotter. That shit always bugs me. And the Philly media is notorious for that. Hey, so what's it like playing next to Cooper? Who gives a fuck? How about me out there? What's it like for me to be out there, for him to play next to me? I mean, so stupid. You want to know more about Campbell through other players who are trying to make the team too? That's so disrespectful to conversations. You're undermining the guy's effort and what he's trying to do by making the ball club by doing what? Kissing a guy's ass who he's got to beat out to make the team or start? It's a lame-ass conversation. But then again, most beat writers that cover a team are fucking lame. Those are lame questions. What's it like to be in a battle with fucking Keely Ringo if you're Eli Ricks? Well, I know a lot. Don't tell me those things because they don't mean it. I'm going to win the job. I don't give a shit what he does. Do you know how many players would like to actually answer the question fairly? What's it like playing next to Campbell? I don't give a shit. I'm concerned about my sandbox. I don't care about that. I got to make the ball team. You're making me like, yeah, it's really a great honor to play next to a guy that they drafted first round. I was a 4th-round draft choice. What are you, a 5th-round Trotter? Yeah, I'm a 5th rounder, and he's like the 30th pick. What's it like playing with him? Well, I know I got to be better. Sills, what's wrong with trash talk? And I do it every night at work. 20 an hour for a pile of work. Kyle, you're good, man. Team culture. Team culture. A fucking dumb take right there. You know what team culture is? Competing. Not sitting around throwing roses at one another, competing. This guy thinks that shit right there creates culture. Being butt buddies with the guy next to you you're trying to beat out. You know how you build culture? Competition. That's what builds culture. Guys that will take your job from you. Not guys that are going to sit around and have a fireside fucking chat with you. Like M. Reyes. Okay, well, sitting around kissing each other's ass, that ain't culture. Winning is culture. Correct. Winning. Hey, so what's it like to play with Mac McWilliams? I don't know. I didn't know his name 4 weeks ago. Okay. No, but hey. Oh, my God. Too easy. We got Jihad Campbell on here, too. All right. So, Cooper DeJean. I don't know, man. When Cooper DeJean got in front of the mic, you know what? I thought I was watching. Who did I think of? When I heard him talking, and Cooper and he was up there at the mic, who did he remind me of? Let me see here. Like something, I don't know, Beavis and Butthead kind of reminded me of some shit. I don't know. I mean, he just was like a librarian or something. It wasn't very cool. He's kind of a stiff. But again, that's his first time. I don't know. He just looked like a stiff when he was behind the mic there. So, again, why Bama, Georgia is Vic's forte, rotational and compete. That's culture. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's all right. You could be a nerd. I thought Cooper was a nerd today. Little nerdy. Little nerdy. It's all right. So, and by the way, John Lynch is a little nerdy. And he was a hell of a hitter. What's his name? The guy from Seattle. Cam Chancellor was a little nerdy. So that's all right. So what was he talking about? Dude, he said something that is so true about playing safety versus about playing the nickel. It's harder to play in safety. Why? There's more space. When you're in nickel, it's half the space. You're more in a confined role on the field in a confined area in the nickel. When you're in, by the way, he did say something else, though, to benefit. You get more time to think back at safety than you do at nickel. So there's pluses and minuses to what he was talking about playing safety and then playing in the slot. So there were two different things. Okay? He's right. You got to be a better tackler in safety position because you're going to play the game in the field. There's more space for you to cover. When you're in that nickel or in that slot, you got a smaller room to have to take care of, which means your responsibility is twice as less playing safety. You get it? The third wheel back there, it's corner, safety, and then that nickel. The easiest position to play is the nickel. Safety, and then obviously corner. And he said, I had to get a couple practices because I had to gauge the space that I had. I don't think there's not a problem he can't do it. I'm not saying that. But Cooper said he needed a couple practices to figure that out and figure out how to play in space like that a little bit more than being in the nickel when he's playing back there. I think he really thought that out well. He's a really smart guy. Make no mistake about that. He is a smart dude. So he could figure that shit out. Okay? I liked it. You can also see the fare better from a safety position. Yeah, you get a chance to see the field more because you're in the middle of the field and you get to see all the space. And I would make this point to you, Prince. I mean, I think what it does, it also gives you an opportunity to see exactly what the offense is trying to do pre-snap. I think them playing these guys in the secondary all over the place, it's just going to be so beneficial to Quinyon Mitchell and to Cooper DeJean as their careers go on. They're going to keep continuing. By the way, what's the one thing that Vic Fangio is doing right now for both guys? He is extending their careers at the back end by putting them in multiple positions. Cooper DeJean could play corner right now, probably very effectively. But they want to see how that plays out over there. I think they want him in the middle of the field, in the slot and at safety. I think Vic field, look, two-eye safety. Probably in Vic's eyes, that two-eye safety probably matters as much as his corners. That's where Reed comes in. Remember something. I think the biggest attribute, and I would say this to you about Reed Blankenship's importance back there. I think Reed is a good ball player. But let me say this to you. So you're going to pay a guy like Reed Blankenship $15 million, make him one of the highest paid safeties? Well, what the fuck are you going to pay Cooper DeJean when his time comes up? $25 million? And you're going to have two corners making what? Combined $50 million? A D tackle making $50 million? You got some tough decisions to make. You got some really tough conversations coming up here. Hey, I'll say it again. I don't know what they're going to do with with Reed Blankenship. I think they like the player a lot, and I'm not suggesting to you they don't. But you got some pretty tough decisions to make. And if they thought he was so great, why are you drafting two safeties in consecutive years? And now you're moving Cooper to safety. Think about what you're doing. Ask yourself this. So in the last 2 years, 3 years, you drafted a third rounder, then a second rounder, and another second rounder, and now you've got Cooper DeJean, Makuba, and Sidney, all those high draft picks, battling for one job? Or are they battling for two jobs? How do you know? So let me ask you this. What if Sidney plays great and they move Cooper to safety? Are you still paying Reed Blankenship? Are you? Here, if they move depth, this guy says depth, second and third rounders have to be starters, dude. They're not depth. If that's the case, Sidney and Makuba will not be on the football team for a second contract. They'll go on the open market. Depth. A second round pick. Depth. Jalen Hurts was a second round pick. Cam Jurgens was a second round pick. Cooper DeJean is a second round pick. A.J. Brown is a second-round pick. I mean, so here, Sydney has a great camp, and they move Cooper to safety. Does he become depth Sydney until he beats out Reed? Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay? Right? I mean, I think they're waiting on that. I like Cooper. I'll tell you this, man. I liked what he said. He needed to learn and have a couple more practices until he got the open space playing safety, and he said he picked it up pretty well. I want you guys to do me a favor the next time you hear Ty Robinson talk. Listen to Ty Robinson and then listen to Jihad Campbell here. So here's Jihad Campbell. He goes, it's about studying my playbook. And, you know, I really love that they've given me all this. And what I loved what he said, too, is that this is a job now. Before, when I was in college, I had to go. I had to go to school and I had to go to class. Now, this is all I do. This is my life. He's got a great attitude about that. Studying, preparing, understand. This is your job. That's why when you guys are sitting around telling me that Jordan Davis is in shape, well, thank you very much, man. Only after 4 years did he realize it's a job. This kid Campbell gets it. This is his gig. This is his job. He goes like this. Yeah, step by step at the edge. I don't think they're playing him out there. I think they're going to play him out there to disguise, not to have any significance. I think they're tipping a little too much off in the press conferences too, unless they're lying. Because he said something today. If I was an opposing team and I heard what he said, I think it's all a ruse that they're going to play him at edge. I think they're just going to have different looks where they slide these guys out like that. And the way he talked, he was just like, yeah, you know, there's a couple reps out there. And then what Vic said too, you know, I don't know how much we're going to play him out there, but we're just trying to work when it comes to different looks and different disguise coverages. I was like this, okay. Now, unless he's lying, and he could be, because you don't want to tell too much. But if I heard that, I'd be like, every time I saw Jihad Campbell and Zach Bond lining up outside, they're looking to drop somebody, and they're not being serious about bringing pressure with those guys. I thought that got tipped a little bit. I thought kind of it like exposed it a little, because Campbell doesn't really seem like he's really working a ton out there unless it's more of an alignment scenario. Like he's working a little, but I don't think it's serious. I think it's got a lot to do with formations and alignment and post-snap. I don't think it's got to do with really bringing legitimate pressure onto a quarterback using Bond and Campbell out there. Now, they might be practicing it because when Dean comes back, and again, he didn't sound very positive today, did Vic Fangio about Nakobe Dean's availability coming up. Seals, Reed does everything that Vic wants. All things being equal, we know how Reed plays in big games. Player needs to truly beat Reed out. I saw how he played in 23. He was awful. He was awful. Last year, he was good. He was good. He was above good. He was really good. Year before, he was terrible when he didn't have another safety playing next to him. Now, again, he also didn't have a corner on the flip side because Bradbury stunk the place up. So he had two deficiencies. He was playing in a hole. The other safety was terrible, and the corner was not living up to expectations. So, yes. Okay? I agree. There are very few interviews where the players were talking. I just thought that they brought that. Okay? Here's Prince. Sills, I rewatched the championship game and the Super Bowl game. Jordan Davis was playing with leverage and being disruptive. He can have a big impact year this year. I believe he can have a big impact season. Okay. If not now, when, Prince? Prince, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. And let's see how well he plays. Now, Prince, would this be an improvement? Would this be an improvement for Jordan Davis if he turns into a 3-down player? Would this be an improvement? I'm not talking about numbers. Prince, I'm not talking about numbers. I'm talking about being a 3-down guy. If he turned himself in, thank you, Prince, hit the like button, guys. If he turned himself into a 3-down defensive lineman, that would be an incredible improvement. Correct? Okay. Let's see by the end of the year if he turns into a 3-down player. Because if he doesn't, it's over. And what I mean by over, the chances of $18 million are gone. He'll be on the market for this. 12, 13. Not bad. But that's who he'll be typecasted as. A 2-down guy who's a little above average. And when he gets in shape, he shows signs of really being a good player. That will be, again, I'm not even talking, Bud, about sack numbers. I just want to see him play on 3rd down more. And if he can't, and they got to keep him in 1st and 2nd down, that's who he is and who they defined him as. You get typecasted in the NFL, folks. If you're an undrafted free agent, that goes with you. Why do you think Tom Brady wore that 6th-round draft pick around his neck like a scarlet letter so that every time the NFL draft came by, he reminded organizations of how they reminded him in the draft process that you're a late-round pick? Brady's biggest bitch and his biggest disappointment is not being a 1st-round quarterback. Do you know that? Tom wanted all of it. I mean, he wanted all of it. Right? I'm going to keep asking this one question about Coop. By the way, I think it's a sensational question because I think it speaks volumes about the kid. A little dorky, a little nerdy. That's all right. Like I said, John Lynch, a little nerdy, a little dorky. But I'll tell you this, his game is not that. And they're going to move his ass all over the place. All right. Gary Cobb will join us. That'll be at 4:30. Like I said, we are working on Anthony Munoz. And Xander threw one out too. You know what? Let's get Terry McLaurin, the guy who will be throwing the football to Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels. Let's get his coach, Herm Edwards, when he was at Arizona State on this week. So we will do that for you guys too. So we'll work on Herm, the former Eagle himself, former NFL head coach. All right, guys, hit that like button. You guys have been great with Supers here on this Monday. It's a football Monday as we roll towards the Bengals this week. without further ado, these guys were working hard over the weekend. There were a lot of conversations and practices over the weekend with the Eagles. Big Z's working his backside off 24/7 because everyone's starting to roll back into the network now. So we appreciate that. Without further ado, it is our boy, Big Z. Shander Kraus joins us now. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Oh, good, man. How was the weekend?
Great, man. Great weekend down at the shore. Nice weekend out. So I'm ready for the football season, though, man. Can you believe it? Eagles game this week, bro. Eagles game on Thursday this week. And I know it's preseason, but shit, I'm still happy to see the team out there, man.
I am absolutely throttled about it. Dude, where will Coop play?
I feel like he's going to end up back in the slot. You know, just because I don't see who's going to play there. Like, it's either him or McWilliams. Right now is what it looks like. Yeah, I guess maybe you could say Makuba, maybe, but like until Vic shows me that in practice, I'm not going to go out on that limb because he moves everybody around. So if Makuba hasn't been in the slot at all in practice, I'm not going to project him to be there. So I think DeJean would be a great safety, but I think he's going to end up at nickel again this year because I don't see who else would be there other than Mac McWilliams, who's a 5th-round rookie. And let's be real, that's a lofty projection at this point in his career.
You think they overplayed that safety position, or do you think they overplayed the corner position more?
It's one of my biggest fears coming into the year. Not fears. That's not the right word.
Questions.
I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just saying it's one of my fears that your ego got in the way and you couldn't handle a guy like Gardner Johnson. And instead of just biting the bullet and being a good football team, which you already proved you can win with him. So, like, anybody that says, oh, get him out of there, all right, I get it. Maybe you don't want him there for the long term, but you already proved you can win with him. Yeah. So, like, it's not even like you lost last year and it's like, oh, we had to get rid of Gardner Johnson to get over the hump. You already proved you can win with him. Now, was he probably a headache? I'm sure he was. Was he a little bit obnoxious at times? I'm sure he was. But you already proved you could win. Did the ego need to die a little bit harder there and just keep him around? I mean, right now we're projecting a rookie or Sidney Brown. Now, I think Sidney Brown's probably going to win the job, but I don't know. Look, that's one of my biggest things coming in, Sills. Did they get rid of Gardner Johnson for reasons that weren't worthy of getting rid of a good football player? You know, this is a football team. You know, you need some of those players. That's my worry with that.
You think they punted too soon on Slay?
No. I think he's a big loss.
Practice.
I'm not saying he's not a big loss. I'm just saying at some point you do have to turn the page on 35-year-old players. Now, you could easily push back and say, all right, dude, well, you're replacing him with the stiff and Keely Ringo who hasn't proven shit. And I would say true, but, you know, for a team that
I'm not there on stiff yet.
I'm not there either, but I'm just saying if you went to the other side of it, I can understand that. But, you know, 35, 36. I think he was truly on the other side of his prime. I think we all know that. Struggled to stay on the field consistently. And I think at some point, you know, I think Howie subscribes to the philosophy now after the 2018 season of it's better to be a year early than a year late.
Yes, and me too. I've always believed that.
Yeah. So I think with the other big factor in that, though, was Ringo. It's like if it wasn't this year for Ringo, it was never for Ringo. So they had the tough decision to make. They decided to go the way of the young gun and try and let him win it and earn it. And that obviously gives you a better long term because if Slay comes back, you know, he's good for 1 year. And then you still don't know what life after Slay looks like.
You pause the development.
Exactly. So it's like maybe you take a small hit week 1 through 6, week 1 through 8, week 1 through 10, you know, and if you can get your cornerback there that you feel better about, I think it's worth it. But it's still yet to be determined. But the thing I understand about Slay is eventually you got to move on from older players. Like Gardner Johnson's 28 or 29. Like he's in the prime of his career. So that's a different scenario in my eyes than Slay. And you know, I'm not saying that the Gardner Johnson move is going to be the downfall. I'm just hoping that they got rid of him for the right reasons, not, hey, I couldn't deal with the personality, you know, because I don't think that's a good reason to get rid of a good football player.
I think they got quite a question with that safety spot. Okay, so let's say you're right, and Sidney Brown wins that job, right?
Yeah.
And let's say Vic wants in base. He wants Cooper to play in that base. Okay, there's only 2 safeties.
Right.
Where's Reed in this?
What do you mean? Reed would
Okay,
be
you drafted a 3rd rounder, a 2nd rounder, and you're talking of moving.
Cooper.
Cooper talked about it today about playing safety.
Yeah.
He just had to learn how to play.
I see what you're saying.
So now, what if you've got Sidney and him playing well, and then you got Reed out there at 15, and you got another guy, Makuba, you took in the 2nd. What's the future there at safety, in your opinion?
Well, which one do you view as the safety paid? Because maybe that's the reason they haven't paid Reed yet. Where they're like,
DeJean's my safety net.
No, I'm talking about the other 3. Cooper's not go. Cooper, listen, it doesn't matter if Cooper's safety, slot, outside. He's not going anywhere.
No.
He's going to be in Philly for a long time. So leave him just to the side for a second, all right? You got Makuba, you got Sidney Brown, who has a couple years left, and then you got Reed Blankenship, who is going into the final year of his deal. Is this the reason that they didn't give Reed the deal yet? And maybe they're like, all right, let's go to camp. We got two mid-round picks coming in high mid.
High, yes.
2nd and a 3rd is pretty good. And then you also have Cooper DeJean. You know, if one of these guys gets moved back, we're not going to pay Reed. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the other 3 battling for the 1 spot, and ideally they don't want Cooper back there. They'd rather have Cooper as either a nickel or a versatile cornerback. That's what I think they would prefer. But if you put Cooper back there full time, somebody's got to go. You're basically, and then let's just say they
right. If they put him at safety, that is not good for Reed.
It's also not good for. Well, yeah, that's where I was getting to. I mean, if you move Cooper back full time, and then you have.
And Sidney continues to play well.
If leave even just Sidney out, you just spent a 2nd round pick on a safety. So you're gonna, let's just say they pay Reed, and they make Cooper a full-time safety. Well, you just spent a 2nd round pick on a guy that's not going to hit the field for 3 years.
Correct, and you got a 2. You got a 2 there also. You got a 2 and a 3 there.
Well, the 2 is Makuba. You'd be giving up on the 3.
A 2, and you got a 3. Where are you going?
I don't think moving Coop makes sense, or moving Coop to safety makes sense for these reasons. I mean, one way or another, you're going to have to
them there
in base. So very, very small sample size.
Yeah.
And I get that because they're only going to have two guys on the, 2 corners and two safeties on the field at that time. Obviously, you're not going to take Cooper off the field. So it's like, where do you get him on the field, either outside or safety? Somebody's got to go. And I would rather probably take off the rookie or Sidney Brown there. So that makes sense to me. I don't think that's a big issue. I think where the real issues would arise would be if they moved Cooper to safety. Like I'm talking like when they're in nickel, Cooper's at safety. That is where I think the big issue would arise.
All right. How about this one? Do you agree? The more you hear other names being thrown in like Eli Ricks, the more that spells doom for Keely Ringo, that you're adding another guy to a potential that could take that job, because Vic said today, he said, yeah, he's worked himself into the conversation.
Right.
He's starting to get into the conversation. Dude, I can't think they're happy with what the first 10, 11 days have been with some of the positions. Dude, I got to say it. I'm better today about your D-line, about the replacements of Milton and Josh, than I am about the safety and corner. I don't really know what your depth even looks like. I mean, how do you feel about it? Am I wrong? Don't you think the more names that get added speaks more questions to the corner?
Definitely. But here's the thing with it is that I do still think that they have the guys there in the running. And if one of those guys fall flat on their face, we're going to have a big issue. Like you heard Vic today, he was like, Dory's having a good camp. Keely's having a good camp. That's a close battle right now. I'd rather hear that than say, Dory's way ahead. Keely Ringo looks like shit. Now you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Now we basically gave up Slay for Dory, and we don't have a long-term answer at cornerback. And the guy we drafted to be that guy's falling flat. So I don't think we're at I don't think we're anywhere close to dire straits or anything in that in these two positions, but they are definitely the biggest positions or the biggest question marks coming in. How do you feel about edge rushers? I know you just mentioned the D line, but that's John's like John is like, he knows everybody wants to talk about corner and safety, but he's like, the edge rushers are a way bigger problem in my eyes than the corner and the safety.
He must be seeing things in practice then on setting the edge, because I don't care about the pass rushing. I only care if you can play the run out there. You proved it to me a year ago. You don't need to be elite out there at the edge rushing the passer. You need to be elite out there at turning the play inside and not allowing people to get out to your outside shade. So, but again, you're going against Lane and you're going against Mulata. So those edges are going to get fucked up, Sander. I mean, you're not going to win that. My question mark will be, I want to see how that looks against the Bengals. Supposedly Burrow's going to play a couple series.
Yeah, remember they played Burrow in it. They played Burrow last year, didn't they? In the preseason? Yeah.
Last
year. Well, that'll be great. Oh, that'll be fucking great. Yo, Keely Ringo, let's see it. All right, you got the best passing quarterback in football coming in. I hope Joe Burrow. I hope this is what Joe Burrow does. And this is for our sake, everybody. I hope he throws 4 straight passes, all right, 2 to Ringo and 2 at the safety spot. I don't give a shit about Quinion. I don't give a shit about Cooper. I don't care about any of them.
You'll figure it out right away.
Target the safety. Let's see what these guys are made of, man.
That's right. Hey, he'll figure it out for you. That's what we'll say here. All right. I got to ask this. I may have thrown this at you before, but Haas, why do I feel this? On August 4th, I feel that Jihad Campbell is ahead of Q and Cooper of a year ago when I'm hearing Vic Fangio make these comments. I'm giving this guy so much more responsibility that I might be giving too much intel and too much of what I'm asking him to do, that we kind of maybe want to pull it back. Or he's like, I'm paraphrasing it here, bud. Am I right when I say Campbell just seems that he's ahead of what those guys were? Or maybe it's even. How do you see that?
Well, I think that would be a good case scenario.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think it makes it harder. But, I mean, look, who do we want playing here? The first rounder or the fifth rounders? Like, I'd rather have the fifth rounder be wasted than the first rounder. So, look, it's ahead of schedule on Jihad Campbell. But, the one thing I'd urge some caution, to be cautious on is Vic might like you a lot in practice. That doesn't mean he's going to put you in a full-time role in the game yet.
No.
And I think he values that year that Trotter had last year too. 1 year in my system. And he already said that at the press conference. I don't think it was today's press conference. It was last time. But, he basically said, yeah, Trotter's been great. He's already got a year in the system. He knows everything I want to do at that position. So I think Vic values that. And based on what I'm hearing from not even just John, I was reading a bunch of different reporters. Trotter looks good, man. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be this groundbreaking player, but sometimes guys are just good enough where you don't got to take them off the field, dude.
He looked intimidating today, too.
Huh?
I liked his look. I mean, he looks intimidating a little bit out there, too. A little rough guy sitting at the microphone looking over at people. I thought he had a presence.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. Listen,
I like a presence, Sander.
I know you do. I agree with that. I mean, presence goes deeper than just football. That matters in everything in life. So I get it. I like Trotter though. We'll see. I think I'm excited about this one because it's been a while. All right, since we've had like a lot of good players at linebacker, and we got more players than we know what to do with. And
Kid London too.
Yeah, and that's a welcome sign for me right now. That's a good problem to have for the Philadelphia Eagles, who have struggled at that position for a long time.
Okay, so I didn't know Barkley was a shit talker like this. So I guess
what
Barkley,
did he do? I didn't see.
Oh, Barkley was talking how he's talking shit the whole time, and everyone's going like, even Cooper goes, "Oh my God, does he talk trash?" You hear what he said about BG? He goes, "This is Barkley talking." He goes, "Yeah, BG's shit talking was annoying." He said it
was. That's the fucking point, Saquon. That's the whole point.
He goes, it's just annoying. And Barkley was like, yeah, man, I think, challenging each other out there and everyone going forward and doing the right thing out there. I like Saquon Barkley, dude. I really
he's
do.
good, man. He's good.
Yeah.
He's,
hey, how about Jalen had a good day?
Jalen's got a good day every day.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Not according to people that have been watching.
For anybody who missed it, I put up a masterclass today on why people hate Jalen Hurts. It's hilarious.
Why do they hate him? I don't hate the guy. I don't know the guy.
I didn't say you.
Yeah. Who hates him? Why do they hate him?
What do you mean? A lot of people hate him.
Why do they hate him?
Because he breaks the mold for what people assume will be successful at that position. And he does it his way. And he's unmoved, unflappable, and unconcerned by anybody who tries to push him into a different way to do things. And in everything in life, this isn't just football. Sometimes people get uncomfortable by that guy. And you'll resonate with this because you are that guy. I was that guy. Look, people like people who fall inside the lines. Jalen doesn't look like your average quarterback. He didn't do things like your average quarterback did. Everybody's over here saying, yeah, get the passing yards. Yeah, 5K, all these different. Meanwhile, all these people who rank him 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 14th, 15th, wherever the hell they rank him, they all know that that's not all that matters. They've all watched Jameis Winston throw for 5,000 yards in a season. They've all watched Kirk Cousins rack up 4,500 yards a year and never do fucking shit when it mattered. They've all seen all these quarterbacks throughout the years who have put up great numbers, who can throw the ball well, and that doesn't make up the full pie for what makes a good quarterback. So when they try and put Jalen in that box and he says, guys, I don't really give a shit what you want me to do. All I want to do is win the damn game. And he actually practices what he preaches and says, keep the main thing the main thing. And it's so simple, yet it's so profound, and nobody can follow it because their entire worldview and their entire judging on quarterbacks has been framed around one thing, and it's how do they look? How many yards can he throw for? What does he, how tight is the spiral? Those are all superficial things. Some of them are good. I'm not saying they're all worthless, but I'm saying that Jalen has approached the position where I don't give a shit what people want my game to look like. The only thing I want to do is win the football game. That's it. And it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to actually be that guy. And he actually proved that he is the guy he says he is. It's one thing to say T-shirt slogans and not be that guy. It's another thing to actually say it, to live it, to breathe it, and then to have the results follow. And, scouts who are paid to grade players. And I'm not even saying people like you. I'm saying like anybody at large that has a problem. There's this new guy on the couch. I don't even know what his name is, but he's popped up in my feed a couple of times. And that's part of it too, by the way. You get your name known once you shit on the guy. But, he's talking about Jalen's talent over and over and over again. And I'm like, I don't think this guy knows anything about the complexity to playing not only quarterback in life, but everything in life. Sills, if the most talented people or the smartest people were the only ones who had success, then you could, when you were born at birth, you could go, okay, what's this guy's IQ? What's he got? Okay, he's going to be this in life. That's not how it works, though. There's a lot more to it in every phase of life. And I think Jalen breaks that a little bit for the conventional people who only know how to look at it through one lens, and his unflappability where he doesn't care about it and he truly doesn't need their approval, I think drives them to drink.
Okay, well, I would say this to you then. As long as you're using that same lens that you just put Jalen Hurts in for the other guys, then I've never had a problem, but they don't. Okay? They don't put those. Well, here. Okay? You do not put the other quarterbacks in the same lens because the quarterbacks that are in this league are not afforded the ability to have a great organization around them. Like here, I'll make this point to you. Lamar Jackson and Allen and Burrow have to carry their team. Hurts doesn't. He just doesn't. I'm not ripping the kid.
I know what you're saying.
You're
saying you can't judge this the same across the league because everybody's got
right.
different circumstances. Yeah, I get that. And
every quarterback's in a different lens.
Well, here's where I differ, and not from you, but I differ from I don't think I bash any of those quarterbacks. I say that they haven't accomplished what Hurts has, but I'm also fully aware of there's multiple reasons for that are outside of themselves. But where I have a problem with it is then when people use that against Hurts, but don't I actually think that happens more. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying more at large, where people actually use that against Hurts more than they use it to discredit the other guys. I agree with you. You can't discredit Joe Burrow for not winning in Cincinnati. Fucking nobody would win.
You can't ignore what Hurts has done.
And I get that. But I'm not going to use that against Jalen either. And when I've seen what he's done, I just think that he breaks that mold a little bit, and that's what people have a big problem with.
You know what it becomes with him in what he's, I think, defined. He doesn't have to be great every day. He just doesn't. However, he does take advantage of situations when they pop up. And he takes advantage of it. He took advantage of it in 22, and he took advantage of it this past season when needed. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, the conference title game, the Super Bowl. Those are probably the games that stick out the most in my mind. The rest of them were all Barkley. Okay, but those games.
But that's okay, right? I mean, isn't that what I just explained?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
he's going to be who you need him to be in a given week, and the only thing he's truly cares about. Yeah, I mean, but again, my point is, it's one thing to be a chameleon. It's another thing to be the actual only fucking thing he cares about is whether they won the game. That's it. That's all I don't care if I do it. I don't care if it's AJ. I don't care if it's Saquon. All I want to do is win the game. And if the game requires me to be this type of quarterback, I'm going to be him. If it requires me to throw all over the place like it did in the Super Bowl, I'm going to be that guy. And that's what I think makes him so unique and special as a player because, again, he practices what he preaches. He wants to win the football game.
I also like the fact, and I think it's important, that conversations like this continue about him because the more you're talking about him, the more relevant he is in the conversation where the first thing, get this, when any list comes out, who's the first quarterback they look at? Not who's number one,
no.
Who's number 5?
It's like who gets disrespected. Yeah. And Jalen's a lot of time he is that guy.
Right? Everyone looks at, hey, you're either going to go Allen right now or Mahomes or Burrow or whomever, right? First thing you look at is where's Hurts on the list? And then you start looking at it. You got him down there near Mayfield. And then you start that conversation up. I mean, so I think more people, who do you think it's more talked about more, Dak or him?
Definitely Jalen right now. Dak's been kind of quiet the last couple of years. They haven't heard much. I mean, he got hurt obviously last year, and when their team sucks.
I think it's Hurts.
I think it's definitely Hurts. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
All right, before we get to the supers, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Now, do you get a little bit of what I was saying last week about Jerry Jones?
I get a lot of what you were fucking saying. Micah to the Eagles.
Hey, not happening, but hey. But how about this? Do you get what I was? Jerry goes
he doesn't give a shit. It's Jerry's world, man, and it's Jerry's world, and we're just living in it. I mean, that's right. Get it. I get it.
And get this, he's going to get.
I still don't have a problem with Micah Parsons. What he's doing, what he did, though.
I got that too, but I'm like, you're going to get your $40 million, kid. You said things that nobody matters.
This is what's annoying about it because, well, it's not annoying, but they're going to make him wait to the last second. And you know what they're probably going to do? This is why nobody wants to play for Jerry. And there is a lesson here because I know people love to just gauge things on like money, but there's more to business than just the money. Like, is he going to franchise tag Micah next year? Because that's what I see happening. And then he can do that for 2 years. And that's what the New York Giants did to Saquon. And everybody will say, oh, I know, I get it. Guys, I know they all make millions of dollars. I know that they're already spoiled. I know. Like, I hate the people who are like, well, they make millions. They'll be all right. It's like, that's not the point. In their ball game, in their ballpark, where they operate in, that's a shitty business owner. And nobody wants to work or play for that guy. So if Micah Parsons can come through.
What's the tag on that? Go ahead.
Can outlive his expectations as a first-round player and as a superstar, and you won't even give him the money early, Why the fuck would anybody want to play here versus Philly? A.J. Brown gets a second contract in 2 years because he outperformed. It's like, all right, I know he's making a lot. He's going to get paid a lot. He's going to be all right. I'm not saying he's not going to be all right, but nobody wants to play for that guy, man. I'm telling you right now, there's more to it than just how much you pay somebody. You know, a lot of people would hate their fucking boss no matter how much money they make. You know what I mean? Like, I value being a good owner, a good place to play, a good place to work for, a good environment. I think Jeffrey Lurie's done that in spades as compared to what they're doing over in Dallas. And I think that's a big part of it as well.
Where'd you come up with this tag? Because the tag's 20.
I came up with the tag just on basic thinking of because if they don't pay him this summer, then he would have a chance to hit free agency. There's a 0% chance that Jerry hits free agency. And I don't think Jerry, as you just explained, he's not going to let anybody dog walk him. He's going to do whatever he can to be the big dick. All right.
Yeah.
And what's that look like?
You know, this is over signing.
All right, Micah, you're going to take a franchise tag. And you're going to pay him half the money for 2 more years.
How about this? Oh, wait a minute, though. This isn't over base. This is over guaranteed money. Why they don't like
that I agree with. But how much guaranteed money you given on a franchise tag? I mean, think about the other part of that too is he's going to extend out when he can get paid for 2 extra seasons on top of already what he's done. You're going to probably lower Micah Parsons' earnings potential over his career by 30-40%. Think about that. Dude, I don't think people think about it in that way. Like,
look, you're talking about signing him to a 40 annual deal, and he franchise tagged him. That's 20.
20, and they're going to do it for 2 years. It's going to kick out, so he's not going to be 28, 29 years old till he gets his only big deal. Now he's going to have only one chance at the big deal.
You lose $50 million. $50 million.
Minimum. I'd say minimum.
Over 2 years.
That's what, Jerry, he dicks these players around, man. That's why I got no issue with Micah because, this is a good guy. This is a player that, it has technically represented your organization probably better than most, despite some of the issues he's brought. I mean, Jerry talks about his own organization. He sounds like a dumbass sometimes, a lot of times, but Dak Prescott is, doing like these TikTok dances at practice. The guy isn't won shit and he's the highest paid guy, on the team. Does anybody really like him as a teammate? I think Mike is the one dude in that locker room that's actually tried to look out for everybody else, there, whether you like him or not. And Jerry's taking a fat dump on his chest. I don't know how it's going to play out, but
how about this? All seriousness, why does John like Micah so much? I mean, what's the thing he says about him?
Well, I do think Mike is a damn good player. I think he's like one of the only players to have double-digit sacks first 4 years. I mean, he does do a lot of things well, and I think John. I don't know why John likes him. I can't speak for John, but John does like him. John likes him a little bit more than I do. I don't think he's quite as good as
TJ Watt.
John says he's like a generation. Like I think he's the 3rd best edge in our league, or somewhere in there, top 5.
Would you take him over Max Crosby?
At this stage, yeah, because he's 26.
Would you take him over Nick Bosa?
I think that's probably where the cutoff is. You're probably taking Nick Bosa over him, but I don't know. Sometimes I think Bosa is a little bit of a streaky player. Now Micah is too. Micah's
but really streaky, especially against the Eagles.
Yeah, but Micah is on Dallas.
I get it.
Like, dude, Dallas doesn't really like they like you said earlier. Nothing. Dallas, well, no, not only that, but they remove guys.
Yeah.
Like even the 49ers, we love chirping them in Philly, but they at least add players. Like they got Fred Warner. They brought in Hargrave, whether it worked or not. Like they add players. Like they try and get better. They don't always make the right decisions, but they try. Right? They're aggressive. They have a good defense around Nick Bosa. I don't really think they have shit around Micah. I don't know. I think it's a push with those two. I would, kind of like take your pick. I'll be happy with the other.
Do you believe that Will Shipley or A.J. Dillon will see the reps, or will they share the reps on lessening the load for Barkley this year? Do you see Shipley with a role?
I think he's going to have a role. I don't think it's going to be that big. I mean, look, the nature of the beast is running backs don't last that long. And right now we got one that's on historic.
Will he have a Kenny Gainwell role?
I think that's fair. I mean, Kenny Gainwell had what, 400 yards last year? Yeah, I think
Good.
yeah, I think maybe you have marginally better where like maybe him and Dylan both get 400 yards or so. Like both of them have kind of an equal role split back there. But I mean, look, running backs don't last that long in the NFL. The guy that we have right now got a lot of the tread on his tires eaten up by a really shitty organization that gave him no help, got him injured multiple times. And, you know, he spent a good portion of his prime years in a shitty organization. So factoring that in and saying, all right, we got Saquon right now. He's 28 or 29 years old. Let's say he's got 2 good seasons left or 3 good seasons left. Like, dude, I'm not going to spare him for Will fucking Shipley. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to run Saquon Barkley while I got him because he's not a 10-year guy in Philly. He's not. So I'm using Saquon Barkley. I'm running the shit out of him, and I'm going to watch what he can do because he's a special player, a special talent, and he's playing football at a high level right now.
All right. A couple more here for you. Dude, Tanner McKee is having a great camp.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I mean, listen, I
think he's maturing. Did you hear him at the podium this year? He's maturing. Yeah. Yep.
Dude, I think the Buccaneers have a horrible, horrible backup quarterback in Kyle Trask.
Yeah, I never liked him coming. You don't like him because he's a Gator.
Well, hey, probably so.
But no, you're right, though. He hasn't done shit. Remember, he barely won the job in Florida. It was like this whole story. It was like, you know, not supposed to be the starter.
Bro, he overthrows passes in practice. He does it, the timely ones that are easy checkdowns he misses. And then I looked at, and I said it this morning, I go, boy, the Eagles got a guy in this Tanner McKee dude, man. Do you think you get a 3rd rounder for him?
I feel like that's a little rich. But
4?
I think a 4 makes sense. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a 3. I mean, you know, you could probably get a 3. I mean, I don't know. It depends how needy teams are, and it depends what Tanner shows.
What if he has a fucking monster fucking
preseason? Then yeah, you're gonna get a 3 for him. I mean, there's a premium on quarterbacks, but who's gonna, you know, there's got to be somebody looking for one. Who?
New Orleans.
Why?
Because I'll give you
just draft that fucking Stifler in the 2nd round.
Who? I don't. What? No, they got the guy from South Carolina.
No, they got the Stifler.
The Stifler. Okay, well, Tanner McKee. What if they?
No, the fucking Stifler from Louisville. Oh, no, he didn't play Louisville. Where'd he play? Where'd Tyler Shuck play?
Tyler Shuck didn't he? Syracuse.
No, that's McCord.
That's what
I don't know where that dude started.
Was it Louisville?
He played he played Louisville.
He played at Louisville. Come on, man. This fucking Stifler. Dude, so Tanner McKee.
But my point is they spent a 2nd on him. They're not going to trade a 3rd now for McKee.
No. They're not going to do that. No way. All right. So let's get to these super chats, my friend.
What's going on to the great people of JAKIB Nation? Gotta love it.
You guys, hey man. Hey, do you play your starters? Do you any of the starters see any? What position, Xander? Hold on for a second. Safety, yay or nay?
What do you mean safety? Stardom? Hell yeah. Who the heck's our safety? And why does he deserve to sit on the bench?
Corner, stardom.
Ringo, yeah. Absolutely.
Jihad Campbell.
Jihad Campbell, if he's healthy, I'd play him for at least a series.
Trotter starts.
Trotter might not because he's the starter. Like they might be like, I don't want to. I don't know. They got a lot of depth there, so maybe. They probably won't play Campbell either, by the way.
What's that?
They probably won't play Campbell either.
What about Moro Jomo?
No, he ain't gonna play.
Jalix Hunt.
I'd like to. In my estimation, he should play, but he's not going to play.
Okay. Has John given us any insight on who's winning that right guard spot? Is it Tyler?
It's Tyler. It's Tyler right now, all through and through.
Okay. That's good to hear because that kid Kenyon Green's not going to make the team.
No, he's done. Which again adds to the point C.J. Gardner-Johnson earlier. Was that too much ego involved, folks? Did Howie get a little ahead of himself and get worse at the safety spot because he couldn't handle a big personality? Look, I don't know the back end. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie's the guy who came down and said, I don't want that guy on my football team anymore. I don't know. I do not know. The only thing I'm telling you is right now we got effectively works at safety, and the only explanation to me that makes a single shred of sense is they didn't like the guy. That's it. Like, it wasn't money. All these people, and John's selling the same story from the organization. It was about the money. It's about not the cap, the cash. And I'm like, bro, the guy was making $8 million.
Yeah,
they're about to play Reed Blankenship $15 million. Like, guy was making $8 million. That is dirt cheap for a good secondary player.
Especially if you're going to sign Simmons. If you sign Simmons for $8 million, what's the point? Depending on what happens, you think there's still a shot they could sign or trade for somebody at that out of the building at safety or corner?
Well, I hope they're good because, I mean, you do that and then it's like, got rid of Gardner Johnson to sign what, 34-year-old Justin Simmons? Can that guy even play? I mean, I know everybody loves that name and talking about him, but seriously, is that guy going to fit? I mean, if we signed him today, would you take that off your concern list?
No.
Me neither.
No.
Me neither.
No, because, I mean, is he going to be Kevin Baird or is he going to be a guy who's going to give you something back there and be a Gardner Johnson type player? All right, let's get to the Super, Xander.
All right. Deshae says we need defensive ends. I don't disagree, Deshae. They're relying on Uchi.
I thought Vic said – I didn't think Vic took a shit on those guys. I thought
no, he didn't take a shit on them, but it's, I don't know. Do you think having Uche and Ojulari? I mean, look, we are not a team that, you don't – edge is a position where all four of your guys are going to play. You're not going to –
rotation after Brandon Graham got hurt, it was Jalix Hunt, it was Nolan Smith, and who else was it? Josh Sweat. And wasn't that just a three-man rotation they had?
But that was tough. Remember, Vic talked about it. I don't want to do it with three-man, but I have to right now.
So Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and those two guys splitting up the reps, Ojulari and Uche?
I guess so.
Boy, that sounds even different, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. I mean, it's fair to say we need some Big Marshall. What up, Big Marsh? Checking back in. Good to see you, brother. Mark Holmes next to open up his hole for Jerry. Oh, come on, man.
Hey, Marsh.
Come on, man.
I'm going to say it, man. Jerry Jones does things his own way, and he walks the way he wants to walk. And no matter how many post players, this has gone on for 30 years. That's why, Xander, I think we were kind of saying the same thing in a way. I'm not saying the player didn't have a right to call Jerry out. But at the end of the day, it's empty words, man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But again, I don't got to with him doing it. Yo, Micah, you want to come on over to Philly? Just, give Howie a 10. He'll get the deal done.
$40 million. You're willing to pay that?
I know everybody likes chirping at Micah Parsons, but you put him on our football team right now. What do you think?
Michael Parsons and Nolan Smith. And
you go from Joshua fucking Uchi Coochie to Micah Parsons. Come on, man. Come on.
How much of a distraction would he be?
0. Culture's too big here. It's one in Dallas. There's no structure, Sills. Think about it. There's no permeating culture in Dallas, so it's free flowing. In other words, everybody can go their own way. And that can pull different players in different directions. In Philly, there is an underlying, you can do your thing, you can rock and roll, but this is the culture in the locker room, on the team. That's been set very clearly by Jalen Hurts, and I think Sirianni's done a good job as well.
I proposed this morning in Tampa. You give 2 1s and a 3 for Parsons, and you have Reddick, Parsons, Vita Vea, and Kalijah Clancy chasing down Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, no, that would work.
And you got Levante David playing linebacker.
That'd be a pretty good defense. But the problem with paying for 2 1s is the $40 million. You're going to give him $40 million on top of 2 1s.
You think Washington will be in play for this?
Maybe because he's had such a shitty offseason. I don't think he's had a good offseason. It's funny that people, and I get it. He had a great year last year, turned that team around. That
Adam Peters.
Yeah, Adam Peters. And a lot of people like started putting him in, oh, we got our Howie. And I'm like, yo, pump the fucking brakes. All right. This guy has had one good year. Like legitimately pump the brakes. I've watched Howie dominate for the better part of the last 5 years.
Agreed, but one year him being, he got him to the NFC.
Yeah, but I do not. Do you like seriously? And I know you like Jaden Daniels, and I have no issue with that. That's a special player. He looks like he's going to be a damn good quarterback for a long time. I'm taking nothing away from him. Do you honestly like what they did this offseason?
They brought better players in than what they had, and then where they went.
Where though? At receiver, Debo's better than what they got. The offensive line they improved.
They upgraded the number.
Javon Kinlaw and replaced Jonathan Allen with Javon Kinlaw.
The defensive side of the football, probably down there in that tackle position, and they lose Fowler.
Right.
Fowler went to Fowler.
And remember, they made that big trade last year for Lattimore. And to be honest with you, I think Lattimore's best years are behind him.
Yeah, New Orleans. I would say this though, that I think they've added better players. Now, again, will they hold up? That's a fair comment. But experience, I mean, dude, they went to the NFC Championship game with lesser players. They've improved the roster. You're looking at the ages of the players. Do you know that the PFF grades came out for offensive tackles? Tunsil's number 5.
Yeah.
It's not that, dude. And they had the worst left tackle in football. How's that not an upgrade? They got the 5th best left tackle now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. You're right. They did make some moves that are better.
It's fair to say that the best years with him are behind him.
Drozan says, Xander, I love CJ, but the story I heard was that he sparked a blunt next to Lori. I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares, Dro? What, they pop champagne next to the owner. What? Weed's legal in half the damn country. You can't smoke a jet or a blunt when he wins the damn Super Bowl. That can't be the reason.
I heard it was more Christian Parker had to tell him.
Me too. That's what I heard. I heard Christian Parker had an issue with him.
That it was just constant back and forth.
Also, I don't think Jeffrey Lurie is the type of owner that would really care as much about that as you think. Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
No.
All right. Let's keep going. Yeah, look at this. 2 members coming in at the same time. Steve Ike and Spike Go Active. I think that's Loki. I don't know what's up.
Hey, Steve, I got to tell you give me a ton of shit every day, but
Steve does
that's
give you a
really cool.
Steve. Yeah, thanks everybody for the memberships. We love all you guys, man. Plenty of giveaways coming this year.
Thank you very much. That's really dope.
Thank you. Abe says Clinton Hurt as a guest if you're able to. I don't think they'll let him.
No, they won't let him.
Yeah, they're tough on Silio's show.
I don't want to make it hard for him.
Yeah. Sig Lord says Simmons was good with Vic as his coach, though. Yeah, he was. Justin Simmons.
Yeah, but how many years ago is that? 3?
Yeah, that's what I mean, bro. That's not a guarantee. Nick Walker checking in.
26 years old. That's one thing.
Holy shit! What's this guy standing next to? Is that a fucking satellite? A spaceship? What is that thing? An Elon Musk rocket?
Holy shit! What is that? That looks like my penis.
Jesus, yeah.
Jihad Dotson, there you go, brother.
We are back, baby. Jihad Dotson. All right, Nick, I don't know what you're up to.
How you doing?
Sileo had to go there, didn't he? Ryan Pump checks in. What up, Pump? He says, how do you guys look at the running back room and feel comfortable? If Saquon gets injured, we are cooked. Y'all trusting B.J. Dillon and William Montrez Johnson?
B.J. Dillon. Oh my God, B.J. Dillon.
This dude Pumper.
Come on, Pump.
You got to be kidding me. All right, Sovereign Retirement Group. Look at that. This guy's teaching us how to retire.
Look at the suit he's in, too.
I know. Looking dapper, my guy. He says if Jalen wins another ring next 1 to 2 years, he can be Terry Bradshaw of his generation. Clutch in big games and an awesome defense. I take that.
Dude, Terry Bradshaw, 4 rings. You want to hear the most insane thing about Bradshaw? You know that country attitude he gives you? You know, he didn't have an offensive coordinator. Terry Bradshaw didn't have an offensive coordinator. He called all the plays. Did you know that? I mean, that redneck called 4 Super Bowl wins, 4-0.
That's impressive. Here's Big Marshall says, cut the crap, Xander. You're describing Sills' people. Hate Hurts because of Sills' narratives. How you doing? Dickhead, great show. Yes, Big Marsh.
Marsh, not me, man. People
wow, a lot of members today. Terrence Bond as well.
Look at this, man. More members.
I appreciate that, man. Christopher Michael, last super chat before we get to G Cobb. He says, I've been consistent with my Ringo take, but is Adoree really that guy? Also, if neither works, does Howie make a move? Maybe we should have kept Rodgers. Yeah, it's not a bad call. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. A lot of some unproven guys there this year, but look, that's football.
Do you think Keely Ringo's better than Isaiah Rodgers?
Well, I've seen nothing to believe that to be true. And Vic played Isaiah last year over Ringo. Now, Ringo was the special teams gunner, and he did some of those other things. But last year, when Slay went down, it was Isaiah Rodgers that came in, not Keely Ringo. So I don't know, though. I do remember. I'm a big SEC football fan, and I know it's not the same. I know that's not. Just saying, I feel like this guy does have an upside. I just hope he can get to it because I don't think Ringo's as big of a stiff as people make him sound. Lamar says, rank the issues in the NFC East 1 through 4 on severity.
Cowboys running game. The Redskins would be defensive line that Xander said.
Yep.
And I would say the New York Giants, pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Quarterback.
The Eagles' biggest concern is a lot lesser of a concern than the concerns those other teams got.
It's safety and corner, I think. So I think that's a great way to get to G Cobb, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. So it's good stuff, brother. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, show after, right?
Yep, tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. on Birds 365. Thank you, brother.
All right, you got it. Thank you, Big Z. We appreciate that. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. All right. So I go over and I see Gary Cobb posting a bunch of stuff there, man. He's out there over there at the NovaCare Center, and he's watching what's going on. So how about this? Before we bring G Cobb on, I want him to hear the question. Do you think Howie Roseman overstepped it with the cornerback and with the safety? Which one is more of the concern now? You got rid of Slay. You got rid of Gardner Johnson. Right now, ask yourself this. What's more of a concern after the first week? By the way, Dirty D, being a Georgia fan, I watch Ringo every Saturday. That man has talent to step up. I mean, the guy is really a great player. I agree with you, Dirty D. Unfortunately, he also looked lost in some plays as well. The left guy's wide open. I get it. And I think he has trouble tracking. Thank you for the 11 members of the 11 months. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Without further ado, let's get to G Cobb from Fox 29, former Eagle himself. And we'll start there with him. G Cobb, more of a concern. Is it at safety or corner right now?
Now I heard you thinking that up. That's a great one there because, you could say that there are concerns in both areas, as these guys, of course, as they show what they've got out there at training camp. But in talking about, with the health now, I probably say there might be more concern at the that's tough. I probably would say safety probably. Because, you got a rookie who, has missed a little time.
And is small.
And he's small. That is true. He's small. And then, with Brown, you just haven't seen the consistency, thus far, or just in his time when he's played, because Vic has got to. Vic, if he doesn't feel comfortable with a guy, he's going to go up there and say, hey, we need to bring somebody else in here. He's got to be comfortable with them. Now I could see that Sidney Brown though is getting more comfortable with. Look, let's play the zone, play the safety position the way he wants you to play it, which is he does not want any big plays. He'd like you to make plays where you make tackles in the open field, which you're going to have to do. The other thing is, don't get caught biting on something and they get over your head, and you don't want to get in a foot race with some of these guys either because, they got speed out there, guys that can run by you. If you get into, if you don't have a certain amount of, whatever space in between you and them, and you make it just a pure foot race, And Sidney Brown, he just has a aggressiveness about him. That's the way he grew up playing. And most of the time, he wasn't playing deep over that half. He's playing up by the line of scrimmage, and the kid likes to hit, and he's aggressive, and he has to tone that down in order to play safety for Vic Fangio. So I think that is something. I think it can be corrected, and I think he's doing some things to correct that, because he knew he was going to have to do that. I guess from hearing the coach there in when he's correcting people, when you talk about corner, Ringo hasn't. He's done good, but he hasn't shined and been consistent as much as you would like.
And now they've added Eli Ricks to the conversation.
That's right.
So the more names you hear, that can't be a good sign for Ringo if you're creating more opportunity for other players to win that job. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. Yeah, because he just hasn't made enough plays over there. You've seen Jackson make some plays and everything, but they look at him as if I don't think that they want to go that route. But if they go that route, that means that Ricks has been a disappointment. See? So, yes, he has shown some, and he has been the better corner so far.
How about this one? How about this one, Gary? All right.
Yeah.
Well, all that being said, you know this as well as everyone. When somebody gets hurt and has an injury the way that Sidney Brown had, John Lynch told me this too. You don't really get a sense of what that player is. Like last year when he was coming off that injury, you're kind of going through it and working through it. This is going to be the better version, don't you think, of Sidney Brown and what he's going to be able to show, because the confidence of going on that wheel now is going to have that behind him and him being able to go. So he probably right now, this is his time. He has a shot to win this job. Do you think he wins that job?
I think they want the rookie to win that job. I mean, because they invested a second round pick in the rookie.
Yep.
See, so I think they feel like, he's the guy that I guess in a way they would like him to win it. Now, if Sidney Brown, if he comes and takes the job, then they're fine with that. But he's got to take that job. Right now, the second round pick is ahead of him because you gave up more for the second round pick. But I see things in Brown, and I have to jump on the back of Vic today when he was talking about it, that basically, they're gonna let these players decide it. They're gonna let them decide on who's gonna win it. They don't have a problem. Whoever comes out and outplays the other is going to be the one that will get the job. So, I'm going to stay on the side of that. And I think that they're going to give them plenty of chances to do it. And, in that I haven't seen the rookie play a long time, but I know that Brown, he may have what it takes. I think he's been around Vic enough to know, look, don't give up any big plays. If you're playing safety for him, he wants safety. That's what he wants. He doesn't need you coming flying up there, knocking somebody out. No, he wants to make sure you're not giving up big plays. That's what he wants from his safeties.
Gary, walk me through this then. Okay, well, Cooper was at the mic today too.
Yeah, he was.
Talking of him playing safety. You just mentioned Makuba's a second rounder. Sidney's a third rounder, Gary.
Correct.
So you got Cooper potentially. You got three dudes fighting for one job. And
no. They're going to be rotating, meaning that there's going to be rotation, and we'll see how eventually he gets it. But Cooper's going to be on the field some at the safety position. But I don't know how much of that. I don't know how much of that he's going to really be doing, because they don't play a lot of just playing, where you got 4 DBs on the field. Most time you got 5. The nickel defense is their number one defense. You're not going to see a lot of, where you got two safeties out there and two corners. They don't do that very much. So most of the time they're going to be playing with 5 DBs on the field. So that's why, Cooper will play a little safety, but not a lot, because they're not going to be in that a lot. Most of the time they got 5 DBs on the field, and Cooper will be the nickel.
So 5 DBs you see on the field 70% of the time.
Yes.
Being a nickel, right?
Correct.
All right. Let me ask you this. Do you think there's a possibility Vic could do this? When Jacoby comes back, could there ever be a position where you have 3 linebackers on the field and Bond, Jihad Campbell, and Jacoby Dean, where you're messing with the fronts? Because you said they're going to have 5 DBs, whether you change the defensive front to create more backers or vice versa. Maybe you put more defensive linemen on the field and have the 2 linebackers. Could you see a lot of that pairing up this year with him changing how that thing's going to look in the front seven?
Oh, yeah. They're going to do some of that because I think they like the fact that, they've got athletic linebackers. See? And so, with Bond and with the rookie
Campbell,
these guys can run. And so they feel like, hey, we can put them on somebody and he can run with them. By the time you hold that ball to the guy, is outruns him, we're probably going to be slamming your quarterback to the ground, because we got an advantage in the pass rush. So I think that they will do some of that, and they can play around with you because they got big guys that can run, and they can cover somebody in space. Well, they really do it with the linebackers anyway. Yeah. Even when they're in zone, because in certain areas they're playing a wide receiver while he's in their zone, and they feel comfortable with that. And we've seen with Zach how he's been able to match up with a wide receivers and knock the ball down, and some cases come up with interception. While he's covering really a wideout in a zone, so they feel comfortable with that, where they can do things when you got guys, all these athletes, so you can do things that break the rules.
Break your technique rules here.
That's right.
You know what? I saw Trotter talking today.
Yeah.
I like his presence.
Oh, well, the kid is sharp, the kid, he knows what he's doing. He understands the game. And that's the reason where you feel comfortable. They feel comfortable putting him out there.
Gary, he sounds the role too. He's had a great camp.
Yeah, he has had a very good camp.
If you had to pick, do you pick Campbell or do you put him in the starting lineup against the Cowboys?
Well, right now, if they would play the game now, it would be Trotter. Yeah, because right now at this point now, you still got a few weeks to go. I would have to give him the nod over the rookie because he knows the stuff backwards and forwards. He knows where he's supposed to be. He knows the routes they're going to be running against him. He knows in running plays where to be and everything. So he's a step ahead. The thing is that Campbell is still learning. He's still learning. And, you have to know this to where, you got it inside you. So, because you can't be thinking through plays. You got to be able to just react, instinctively, because you learn the defense good enough to where instinctively you know where you're going, and and he hasn't gotten to that point where he knows this defense that well. And I'm talking about Jihad Campbell. He hasn't gotten to that point. Now he's on the way there, but he has. Yeah, come on, what is he? What have we had? Maybe 8 practices.
Yeah.
So, he's got more time, but if we go right now, I'd say Trotter would be the one you would start because he knows he's a smart kid, and he knows what he's doing.
Gary, I'll put this out there though. Vic said this at the press conference today. He goes, I kind of concern myself on how much we've put in front of him. Is it me, Gary, or you tell me? How come I feel that Jihad Campbell is even ahead of Q and Cooper of a year ago when you got Vic Fangio telling a rookie, Gary, I'm putting so much on the table for this guy, or maybe it's the same, that's quite a compliment from a guy who's been a coordinator for all these years and been a coach 45 years in the NFL. I'm giving this guy veteran responsibility, like you traveling or Cooper playing in multiple positions. That's stuff you do for veteran guys. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you think that that's a tell sign that, Vic's looking at this guy like a Van Kinkel, a kind of guy where I can use him in multiple places?
Well, I think that he's just being honest. See, and you got to look at Campbell and see, okay, he played down there at Alabama. He was doing some of the same things in Alabama. Meaning, I can't say as much about you, but I know this is not the football that they were playing at USC and in college football. It's not the same football they play now. They weren't spreading us out and doing all that. They weren't doing that in college when I was there.
Everything's in space today.
That's right. So they will get you, they're sending, motion. You're seeing all the motion. You got 3 receivers in there. You got empty backfield. You got all that now in college football. So, he's seen this. He's already seen all of this when he was at Alabama. He played against teams where the offensive coordinator was a pro coordinator. He's running the same stuff. So he's seen all of this, so he knows how to make the adjustment. You can see he knows how to talk and everything. And he's getting comfortable with the Eagles defense, see, with the calls and things. But he's played in, like I said, where you've got 1 back in the backfield, you got 3 wide receivers, maybe you got a tight end in there. Sometimes you got 4 wide receivers on the field. And Campbell is used to that. He's getting better and better, where he's getting to the point where he's familiar with all the Eagles, all the things they're doing. And, in fairness, Vic does a lot. I mean, he throws a lot at an opposing offense, different looks and everything. So, but, he's still learning. Like I said, he hasn't been 2 weeks yet where he's playing, and he's getting more and more comfortable with everything. So I think over time, by the time the season starts, he's probably is going to be ahead of where Cooper and those guys, because last year, see, he was teaching this to the whole defense. This year, he's just teaching it to the rooks, Everybody else knows what they're doing.
Let me start some shit with you here.
Uh-oh.
All right. So I have Makuba.
Yeah.
I've got Cooper if I need.
Yeah.
I've got Sydney.
Yeah.
How come Reed Blankenship's deal's not done? And why are we sitting here looking for that guy? What if we do this, Gary? So I'm going to start a fire here for you a little bit.
I know where you're going.
If Sydney plays well, they move Cooper to safety.
Yeah.
Okay. Why am I paying Reed Blankenship $15 million? I invested a 2 and a 3. No, 2 2s and a 3.
Yeah.
At the safety position. Why am I going to pay a UDFA $15 million?
Well, I tell you, he's a stabilizing guy back there. Okay. He's smart. He knows what everybody's supposed to be doing. He's like the coach. He's the one, you can see he's the one Cooper goes to. They know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. He's going to Blankenship to make sure he knows, and Blankenship is making sure everybody's supposed to is where they're supposed to be, and he's moving people around back there. So, Blankenship is like the captain back there. See, so
I look at him like a Lexus, and those other guys are like Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I know, but that Lexus has the information.
No, I get it.
Now,
I get it.
Now, who knows? Maybe by the end of the season, they look at Cooper and they say, well, Cooper can direct everything back there, and then that might make Blankenship where he's not as confident about. But right now, they need him back there. See,
okay,
because he makes sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. And you got Cooper who is jumping from positions to positions. He's not coaching other guys, making sure he's where he's supposed to be, because time he going from safety to corner to nickel, So maybe it gets to a point to where, who knows? Maybe the rookie, gets them so confident about how his knowledge of the defense to where eventually he's the guy that's confident back that can make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be and everything. But right now, Blankenship is the one that does that. So he's not going anywhere.
They spent a lot of equity on that, though, haven't they? 2 2s and a 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and you got a contract that's coming up. All right.
I know.
So let me put this there.
That's where they got a decision to make later on. You know, they do have a decision to make.
When everything is said and done, where do you think Cooper DeJean has the most success? The slot, safety. He said today that, you know, there's been a little corner play out there too, a little bit for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where do you think everything is said and done at the end of the day where he'll be remembered, or where do you think he makes the most impact for Vic Fangio in that defense? What would be the best position?
I think, you know, I probably would say nickel, because a lot of teams, like let's say the Cowboys, they put CeeDee Lamb in that slot.
Yep.
With the game on the line on third down. They move him in there, and Cooper can go in and neutralize that guy. That's going to make it tough on those teams. So I think still that nickel position is the one. And then the thing he can do also is he's playing that slot. And none of those slot guys can block him, see? You know, CeeDee Lamb's not blocking it. Like on a running play, he can't block Cooper on a running play, you know. So and the thing is, he's going to get physical with those guys in the slot too. You know, he's a big corner, you know, and so I think there he's able to show off all his skills. Now we'll see what they do, and you know that Fangio hasn't showed everything, but you can see he's thinking about ways to utilize these guys. You know, utilizing the guys that have, you know, like a guy like Cooper with all this talent. He can do so many different things where, yeah, he can play safety because he can come up and he can tackle and everything, but the guy can cover like a corner. He's one of our best corner guys, probably next to Mitchell. You know, he's one of our best guys when it comes to coverage. I mean, he covers a guy. You know, we saw that last year. Look at the guys he was covering last year. Third down. You know, he's covering their best receiver a lot of times, you know, and covering the guy, you know, so locking him down.
But Gary, here, then go with me here. So if they're gonna take Q and they're gonna travel him, are they traveling him? I'm gonna ask this question because I asked it earlier.
Yeah.
Are they traveling Q because that's a position they want to see him in? Or are they doing that because they don't believe they have another corner on the other side?
They're doing it because he's markedly better than that other corner.
Because last year they didn't. They had 2 good corners in Slay.
Yeah.
So do you think they're doing it because they got a deficiency over there and they know it?
Well, you know, you could say it that way. But, you know, yeah, that other corner is not he's not Quinyon Mitchell.
Do you think
other corner now, you know, now see that's where it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. I don't know how they're going to work out. Now, they probably wouldn't mind leaving Cooper, like Cooper cover the guy. See, you see, meaning like if Cooper was on the other side. See, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Gary, a guy like Dak, Mahomes, Stafford,
yeah,
they're going to find that hole in the zone, and that guy's name is Keely Ringo. They're going to find that hole. Because that's who these guys are paid $55 million.
Yeah.
Not because they don't know what they're looking for. He's a pre-snap landmark.
Mm-hmm.
You can travel so what? Like in the first game, George Pickens versus Keely Ringo.
Yeah.
Cowboys have the advantage there.
Now, you know, there are going to be some times, you know, he's going to have to step up. And he's in man-to-man coverage. You're right. There's going to be some times.
They don't get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, don't you agree that if you think you've got a deficiency at one corner and you got a question mark at a safety spot, pressure's going to be essential this year on letting those routes mature. Because the one thing in 22, they had 70 sacks, remember?
Yeah.
And they had that high volume of hitting the quarterback. 4 guys had double digits, right? Well, Gary, the routes couldn't develop because they were getting such high pressure.
Yeah.
If they don't get to the quarterback this year with these new guys, and you got deficiencies at safety and corner, boy, I'll tell you, the first 4 games of the year are Dak, Mahomes, Stafford, and a guy who gives the Bucs trouble in Mayfield. I mean, you've got to figure this out in 28 days.
Well, they that's what they're in the process of doing, seeing who do they feel the most comfortable with. Now, I think that they're confident that Ringo's going to come around, and he has better practices times. He's covering some quality. He's going up against some quality wide receivers.
You think he's starting? Oh, that's right. That's a great take. He is going against AJ and Devontae.
That's right. That's right. So if they beat him sometime, that's going to happen. I mean, they beat the best in the league. So, but the thing they got to do is they've got to be consistent where they're competing with whoever it is that comes out there. They got to be able, if they got a tough matchup, they got to compete with that guy. They got to fight with him, and that's what they want out of Ringo. See, because Ringo is a big physical guy. He's got to come out there with confidence, and I can see he's gaining it as the more the practices. I think he was a little nervous there at the beginning, started camp. He come out, he's nervous. He knows everybody's looking at him, and he just needs to calm down, play your game. Look, be physical with these guys. None of these guys can deal with you. You get physical, jam them when you can. Beat them up when you can. If you can engage them early in the route. So I think he's just got to look at the pluses he have. He can run with all these guys, but he's got to come out with that confidence. He needs
just more reps.
More reps. He needs he needs more reps, and he needs to get in there, with the bright lights. That's what till he gets out there with the bright lights and makes some plays, then he's going to get more and more confidence, and realize, come on, you can play with these guys, but he's got to have that confidence in himself.
Well, Burrow's playing in this game, supposedly, a couple series. So you're going to get a good test right out of the gate. By the way, let me finish this up here with you.
That's good.
I didn't know Barkley was such a trash talker. So Barkley out there, he talks.
Yeah, he does talk a lot of some. He does.
Hear what he said about Brandon Graham? He goes, yeah, Brandon Graham's trash talking was just annoying. And I was like, what? All right. It was just annoying. I didn't know he was a trash talker like that.
Yeah, he talks. The guys say he talks a lot of smack out there, and it's good though. It's good for them, because you got to get used to competition. People pushing you. Are you going to let a guy who's a great athlete in Barkley, and he was catching some passes out there coming out of the backfield, and running routes, against the. I guess a nickel guy they put on him. They also, the linebackers, where, and you can see they're working on things with Barkley coming out of the backfield, like on third downs and in the different situations. The guys, he's got tremendous speed, and he's a matchup problem, for any backers. They put any linebackers on him and safeties. So he's a challenge, and he talks, it's good. He challenges the guys to have to cover him and deal with him. It's good stuff. I mean, because you need that on your team.
Oh, yeah,
you need competition, and like with the linemen, you need guys saying, "Look, man, I'm a bully you. As long as you let me bully, hey, you don't need to have soft guys on the team. So it's good for them to be competitive and go after each other, and then let it go."
Final question for you.
Yeah.
Who do you have more of a question on figuring it out? Kevin Patullo or Vic? Who do you have more of a question on when it comes to situational play calling? Now, the offense had a good day.
Now, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Why isn't that fair?
Well, because, come on. Patullo against Vic? I mean, I got to go. I mean, I look at what Vic did last year. You see how he, later in the season, he's taking these offensive coordinators to the cleaners. I mean, kill him. Man, look how bad he made Kansas City look in the Super Bowl. Look how bad.
Andy Reid.
Yeah, like Andy Reid. Come on. And to the point to where, till they send in the backups, they weren't doing anything.
That's great.
They got a 0 up there. So I it's Vic. I mean, the guy really showed a lot last year, man. He really took some people to the cleaners, and that's why I'm interested in seeing how he's going to use these guys. When they get into the season, and I think it's going to be fascinating because there are a lot of these young guys. They're blooming. I want to see if they can rush the passer the way they're doing. If they can do that against these other teams, it's going to be interesting because some of the young kids are, they're showing some things. So that's going to be very interesting to see how this defense plays because they're the key to the season.
Yes.
I mean, I'm confident about the offense because you got all this experience, and with the way you see with Jalen. I mean, Jalen's doing some good things out there, practice situational things with throwing the ball, making plays on third down. Doing that where he's recognizing things. He knows where he's going with the ball. So you see that, Jalen, he's getting better as a quarterback. Over time, you can see that he's more comfortable in the pocket, getting the ball out of his hands, all kind of things like that. So I'm confident about the offense with the weapons they've got and everything defensively. But that's why I feel good because, Fangio, the guy showed me, he impressed me last year. I'm going to see if he can do it again this year.
How about this? I'll end it with this. So Angelo calls Kevin Patullo Bobo Patullo because that's Nick's boy. And he's like, he goes, Bobo Patullo. We'll see what he does this year because, is he going to – do you think he makes Jalen? Do you think he improves Jalen? Kellen Moore didn't.
Yeah, I think I'm expecting Jalen to play better than he's ever played. Yeah, I think so because
wow, okay,
he's seen everything. He's seeing things for the same time. It's the same offense this year. It's not a big change, and
so you don't think
tell
they're going to increase the volume of throws.
Yeah, I think they're going to increase the volume of those. I think they are, but but the big thing I think I hear him talking about he and Jalen talking and. Jalen giving his, the way he sees things and ideas on plays and where they're talking, and they got a real good rapport about that. And I just think Jalen's just growing up. Come on. He's seeing everything again. He's seeing it again. It's the same offense they're playing. They're not changing the offense. And so I think that, they still got Saquon aimed at the defense. You got to realize, it's like a guy goes in there and aims a gun at you. You're not going to forget about that gun that's aimed at you. So Saquon is still aimed at the defense. They got to think about him. I think it's going to open things up in their passing game. And I think Jalen is more and more comfortable with seeing and seeing quicker what he needs to see and who he's going with the ball with and everything. So I'm expecting good things out of the offense, and the whole thing is, how quick is how well is Vic going to do with that defensive unit? And he did a great job last year, so we see whether they can do it again this year. I mean, so that's what's going to be fascinating, and that's the fun. I mean, but you see promising things out there at practice. I see promising things with guys rushing the passer and everything, but can you do it in a game? Can you get to the quarterback? With the money on the line,
Gary, I'm going to make one last one here to you about Barkley.
Yeah.
Barkley's been in the league 7 years, right?
Yes.
Only 3 of those years has he ever finished the season where he went the distance.
Mm-hmm.
You think, again, the season rides on him.
Yes. The
amount of carries they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
You think that he's on a pitch count? Or do you not think he's on a pitch count?
They don't need to tell him, but he's got to be on a pitch count. You cannot run him as much as you did last year. I don't think I'm going to give him the ball. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm throwing the ball to him a certain amount of times rather than handing the ball off to him because I'm going to throw the ball to him. He's out in the open field. He's got to have, cornerbacks and safeties tackling him rather than linebackers and things. So I think that he's got to be on a pitch count. You can't, maybe you say, hey, he doesn't want to be on a pitch count, of course, but so what? We brought in, the backup running backs.
Dylan.
That's right. We brought him in here because we can't give you the ball but so many times.
Three of the last 5 years he's missed time, significant time. Hey, I mean, hey, I'm not trying to start any shit here.
No. Hey, you're saying
Plan B.
This is the kind of thing that those coaches back there, they're thinking about. They got to be honest. They're thinking about that. So, that's something to think about. But I don't think they're going to want to go in and jump on his back and ride him, but so hard. So I don't see them going in with, carrying the ball, 35, 30. No.
Those first four are going to be quite.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
You're right. Those are going to be
all playoff teams, and then you got Denver also in that mix.
Yeah. Well, not the Cowboys last year, but I think they're a playoff caliber team.
Hey, I have to ask you the Micah Parsons thing on what's going on with Jerry.
Oh man,
what do you make of that?
The only thing that now this would be, but it still wouldn't make sense if somehow if he was in on it, if Parsons was in on it, I mean that's the only thing that would be funny, but he's not in on this nonsense. No, what are you doing, man?
That's right.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where somebody, could come in and really take Jerry into office somewhere and talk to him. What are you doing? You're calling out your best player. What are you doing? Why would you be doing that? So
this doesn't make. I mean,
it doesn't make any kind of sense.
And he's going to sign him.
He's going to sign him.
He's not letting that guy.
No way he's letting him. But the thing is, he's going to have to give him more money than anybody, at that position because
he waited.
Come on, he waited and waited. What are you doing?
I know how he gets ahead of it. G Cobb, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, have a good one.
You got it. All right. You see, this is kind of what we do here. We kind of throw topics around a little bit, especially when it comes to Saquon Barkley. 3 of the last 5 years. Whoa. And by the way, AJ's hurt again? No, can't be. Anyway, got to pay some bills, guys. Appreciate you guys big time. Don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in the entire country for a reason. Why? Because they win. Thousands of attorneys coast to coast making sure that your family is protected in case of a frivolous lawsuit by an insurance company. They don't want to do the right thing. Morgan & Morgan is there for you to make sure that your family is defended and making sure your family gets the best defense possible. Remember this, they don't get paid unless you win. Simple as that. They are the #1 injury law firm in the world for a reason. Again, because they win. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529 and do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Hit that like button here, man. We got Bengals on the horizon and a full slate of exhibition football games that you're going to see some players playing. Joe Burrow's going to play this week. Okay? He's going to play this week. So that's going to be a great test for the secondary. Tua's going to play. A bunch of people are going to play this coming season here. So here's Aiden. Sidney looks ready to play. Okay. I don't know where you get that from, but okay. Cooper's going to, but one more time, I think he's in the mix. Cooper's going to stay at the slot. Ringo just needs some more reps. Kind of lost confidence. You lost confidence in 9 days? What confidence could you have had when you couldn't beat out Isaiah Rodgers? Okay? Look at this guy. Sills is talking crap about possible the #1 defense. Completely undoubtful. Completely not happening. Not happening. You wouldn't have been the #1 defense if you brought everybody back. Glad Burrow's playing against our defense, but why would Burrow need to play if he has a history of getting hurt during training camp? Makes no sense. It's an overreaction, Sig. It's a complete overreaction. I agree with you. I'm not playing that fucking guy. For what? To have a catastrophic injury? Why the fuck would I care? I completely agree with you on that. I mean, it's an overcooking because Cincinnati struggles to get out of the gate and because they have struggled. It's an overreaction. I mean, Cincinnati, this shows you why you got bad management. It's why they're a bad organization. Yeah, I mean, right. Absolutely. I would keep Cooper in the slot. So then you're going to take him off for the 200 plays or whatever it was, 247 plays. You're taking him off the field, right? Correct? This is a good take here. Let me go back to dipshit. I mean Spike. Or is it Spike or Spit? I don't know. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't know him from a can of paint. I don't hate people I don't know. I don't. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't really hate anybody I cover. There's a couple people that are penises. But outside of that, I don't hate Jalen Hurts. Why would I? I've never met the guy. That's not my deal. I really don't. It's, if I've never met you or I've never talked to you or never had an engagement with you, how could I hate you? I don't know you from a can of paint. Hey, I hate that guy in Philly. You ever met him? No. What a douche. So I don't hate anybody. I leave that to you guys to hate people you've never met. Or I don't. I think it's fucking hilarious when someone goes, Sileo hates Hurts. Has he ever met him? No. Well, how the hell can you hate him? I don't know. I don't hate him. Okay? Sills just does not like dual threat quarterbacks. I guess. I just don't think he does what these other guys do or is asked to do. You put Hurts on the Jets, he's a nobody. You put Allen on the Jets, they're going to win the East with the same talent. He's not going to elevate the Jets game or the Jets roster. Allen will. Burrow will. He'll elevate that entire roster. Okay? I mean, it's funny. I don't see it. But again, he does every single thing in that offense when asked to. He does, but he's not asked to every week. That responsibility is on the running back. Right? I think when they talk about not liking him, they talk about not liking him as a quarterback, not as a person. Look, I told you, at the end of the day, I'm never taking him out of my top 5. Let's just say he has an absolute shit year. Hypothetically, he has a shit year. I'm not taking him out of the top 5 when the last quarter. Name me a first-round quarterback since Mahomes has been drafted that has won a Super Bowl, can you? What year was Mahomes drafted? What year was Patrick Mahomes drafted? Okay, what year? Does anybody remember the year he was drafted? Has there been a first-round quarterback that has been drafted, or really any quarterback, since Mahomes has been drafted to win the Super Bowl? I'm trying to think. Stafford before. Brady. Who else? Okay, well, Stafford was drafted before 17. Stafford was drafted before 17. That's a fair take, Sills. Thank you. I mean, is Jalen the only quarterback since 2017 that's won a Super Bowl? Lamar hasn't won one. Okay? I mean, just Hurts. I mean, Sills, I love you, but I think you're selling Hurts a little short. He would elevate the Jets, not to the level Allen or Burrow might. Okay. He would elevate them. Maybe I underplayed it. He would. Not to their level. Okay, he would. They'd be better organized. They'd have a better plan. If Jalen walked into the – how about this? I will make this point to you. I think if Jalen Hurts went to Minnesota, they might win a Super Bowl. Is that fair? You put Jalen Hurts on that Minnesota Vikings team. You think they win a Super Bowl? You know, you can make the comment, if you put Dak Prescott in Minnesota, could you win a Super Bowl? I mean, you got a running game. You improved your defense. You got a hell of a coordinator on the other side. I mean, Dak would have a great – that would give Dak his best shot at winning a Super Bowl if you send him to Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy, I can't – get this. You know what's messed up about that, Yale? You got a Super Bowl roster, and I got to worry about who the quarterback is. That's not how you do it. Okay, that's not. Whose yards were the 5th highest? Yards per attempt? He threw the ball 300 times. The guy at Army threw as many passes. That guy at Army. People in the NFL throw the ball 600 times. Here, let me give you this number on Jalen's attempts and what this guy's talking about, which is absurd. Here, dude, I don't hate Hurts. I don't. Here, right here, let's do completions. Here's the guys that had more completions as a QB in this league than Hurts had attempts. Burrow, Smith, Mayfield, Mahomes, Goff, Nix, Murray, Rodgers, Darnold, Caleb Williams had 351. Hurts had 361 attempts. There's 13, 14 quarterbacks that had more completions than the guy threw the ball per attempt. Where'd you get that fucked up stat from? Holy cow. Get this. Well, they're not on as good a team. Silsby saying anything? What are you talking about? I just quoted you what they did a year ago. Rosters win Super Bowls, my friend, not quarterbacks. Rosters. Get that through your head, M. Reyes. Rosters win Super Bowls, not quarterbacks. John Elway went 0-3 in Super Bowls until he got a roster that Mike Shanahan built with a run game with Terrell Davis, and then they won 2. Rosters win, not quarterbacks. You refuse to bite on that. Unless you have a roster, you're not winning. I don't give a shit who you are. Blame the – get this. Who's blaming? This guy's stupid as it gets. Again, arguing with a 4-year-old mentality, not worth it. The Eagles are a running team. Absolutely true, and they're dominant at it. The investment in the offensive line says it all. They're not throwing the ball as much. Correct. They have figured out the National Football Leagues. They have built it, and guess what they did? They have absolutely caught the NFL with their pants down. Every single team in this league is built to stop the pass. Look at the money that's spent. Edge rushers, cornerbacks, receivers, and quarterbacks, right? The running back is actually jamming it back in their face. Okay? That is why you build a team around the quarterback. Stafford, Super Bowl. Okay, so wait a minute. What happened to Stafford in Detroit? Didn't have a good team. You didn't have a good team. Sills is right because Aikman was a game manager. Jimmy built a juggernaut around him. Correct. That's right. Dominant run game, exceptional defense, exceptional offensive line. It's exactly what you got in Philly. Troy Aikman is a fine quarterback. Troy Aikman is not someone that I'm going to sit there and go, well, hey, if I could build a team around Aikman, I could build a team around anybody. Jimmy Garoppolo, Colin Kaepernick. I could build a team around those guys and get to a Super Bowl. So how can you say Allen can win a Super Bowl with the Jets? I didn't say win a Super Bowl. I said elevate the team. I didn't say win the Super Bowl. I never said that. That's untrue. I never said that Allen would win a Super Bowl with New York. Never did I say that. I said he would elevate that shitty Jets team. So you must have misheard me. I didn't say that. Yeah, no. And I think Jalen will elevate the I think he'd elevate the Jets. He would. Okay? They did build a team around Kaepernick and Purdy. They got to a Super Bowl, and they got to him. How about this? You didn't even build a team around Nick Foles, and you won one. How do you explain that? You didn't build that Eagle team around Nick Foles, and you won one. Explain that one, senor. LOL. That team was built for Wentz, not for Foles. But you had a good roster, did you not? You didn't build that team around Foles. This guy makes it sound like, how did Nick Foles win then? How did Nick Foles win? So I'm not 100% on this, but didn't Jimmy Johnson recruit Terry Bradshaw to Louisiana Tech? Yes. He was on the coaching staff there. As a matter of fact, Kyle, you want to hear something even crazier? Jimmy recruited Aikman twice. Once to go to Oklahoma State, and he said no, and he went to OU. Then when he was going to transfer, he said no to Miami, and he went to UCLA. Didn't really matter. And Troy never beat USC when he was there. He was 0-2 and never had a shot at a national championship. By the time he got to Dallas, Aikman was already in the pipeline. So, and by the way, I don't want to dismiss Aikman. Aikman's a great player. As far as any quarterback winning with the Eagles, only the strongest quarterback in the league, Jalen Hurts, could have handled that TD run in the playoffs against the Rams. Hurts made that TD. No one ever debated his running ability. Okay? As a matter of fact, I mean, nobody has ever talked about his ability to run the ball. Rosters win and lose. Not just one player, and yes, that includes the quarterback. Yeah. Dude, the Buffalo Bills have not done a very good job building that football team around Josh Allen. But then again, prior to Josh Allen showing up, take a look at a one-loss record. 4 wins, 5 wins. For 13 years, they didn't do shit. Look at the Bengals. Prior to Burrow showing up, Andy Dalton, whomever. It's been an awful, awful franchise. Trevor Lawrence is in the worst place you could be for a quarterback, Jacksonville. The Jets are right there, and so are the Bears. Here are the worst places you could go if you're a quarterback in today's NFL. The Jets, the Titans, the Jags, the Bengals, the Bills, the Cardinals, the Raiders, Carolina. Those are all places you don't want to go. The Browns, all places that have no chance of you winning. Look at Baker Mayfield prove the point. Here's M. Reyes. Let me prove a point that M. Reyes kind of wants to not admit about Hurts having a great football team around him. And note this. Let me ask you this. Okay? Look at what he says here. Browns are a quarterback instant death. Okay. Well, then what's happened in Tampa to him? M. Reyes, what's happened in Tampa where he's going to get a $55 million annual deal now? What's happened? What possibly changed from Cleveland to Tampa Bay for Baker Mayfield? What's happened? And he's actually beaten the Eagles. What's happened to him? I'm Reyes. What's been the difference in Mayfield? What's been the difference? He's the same guy. Still turns the ball over too much. But what's the difference? Where's Jalen in your top 10? 5. He played on his one given year, and he's lived up to all the mediocrity enough to get a contract. You think beating the Eagles and throwing for 41 touchdowns and 4,500 yards last year is mediocre? And he beat the doorknobs off, and he's won 2 straight against the Eagles in convincing fashion? He doesn't want to admit he's on a better fucking team now with a better roster. Because it hurts the narrative that he has for Hurts. You see what I'm saying? This is right here. This is a bullshit take by him. He doesn't want to admit it that Mayfield went to a better football team. What does the ring have to do with anything with him playing better? Because he's on a better fucking team. What does that have to do with it? And bro, because you win a ring doesn't make you the best in the sport. Jesus criminy. Nick Foles was a substitute teacher, and he won one. Joe Flacco's won one. Brad Johnson is Brad Johnson elite? So according to M. Reyes, Brad Johnson is more elite than Warren Moon because he's won one. What an idiot. See, you don't want to admit the narrative. Here's another good one. Dilfer is better than Dan Marino, according to M. Reyes, because he's got a ring. That, according to him, Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson are better. Okay, yeah. Get this. So does your division. The Cowboys and Giants are pathetic. You think the NFC East is good? Outside of Washington, you got 2 freebies in New York and Dallas. Come on, man. You got to be kidding. Steve Grogan got to a Super Bowl. I know, right? Steve Grogan. Steve Grogan. Hey, Yale, tell these people who don't know who Steve Grogan is. This guy wore a neck collar as a starting quarterback. Do you know that? He wore a neck collar. Seals, I know we talk about the defense in the Super Bowl. Great. If Jalen had to settle for field goals, would they have won? Yeah. They still would have won. I mean, you could have beat them 14-0. You weren't going to score on that team. Or they weren't going to score on your defense. Dude, I don't know who was more dominant in that Super Bowl in the last 25 years. That Seattle team that beat the shit out of that Bronco team, or what you guys did to Kansas City. I'm going to take the Kansas City game that you guys beat the shit out of Mahomes, because if I'm not mistaken, in Seattle, who was the quarterback of that team or Denver? Was that Manning? Yeah, but that was broken down Manning, right? That was broken down Manning. They just annihilated that Denver Bronco team, that Seattle team. I mean, they beat the freaking doorknobs off them. Will HBO ever decide what their app is called? Every year it's something new. HBO can't figure shit out, just like ESPN can't figure shit out. I believe that Hurts does many other intangibles great. He doesn't have the elite arm talent that is seen in the other quarterbacks, but nevertheless, he's the right guy for this team. Absolutely, Eric. He's a perfect guy for this team. Like, Eric, I don't believe Joe Burrow could go in. You'd have to change the offense completely up. It'd be a higher volume. And Barkley would be, how about this? Every time Barkley, here's what would be the difference. If Joe Burrow was in the huddle in Philly with Saquon Barkley in the same unit, Barkley may never get touched, because the passing game and the run game you couldn't defend that. You just couldn't defend. You couldn't defend it. You couldn't. You couldn't defend it because of how good the quarterback is. So let me go back to something that we didn't get a chance to talk more about this with Micah Parsons and Jerry. See that helmet up there? I got one with Steven. You guys know Stephen Jones has been on the program. I had a conversation with Stephen over the weekend about how many times, Xander, how many times has Stephen Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, been on? 4? We haven't had him on in a bit. We're trying to work on him, try to get him on again. But these contracts have been crazy the last couple of years for him. He's been on the program here like 4 times. So I'll ask you this. Give me a grade. Or how about this? 1 through 5. 1 through 5. Where would you, 5 being the best, where would you put Parsons as a top defender in the NFL? Where would you put him? Micah Parsons. See this right here? Again, so this guy, instead of wanting to have the best guest on the country on, he wants to shit on him. Got it. Let's see here. 4, 6, 5. Scale of 1 to 10. 7. Okay. 3. Here's my takeaway of Micah Parsons. take a look at something here. By the way, I think they've had shitty coordinators outside of Dan Quinn since he's been there. I mean, shitty coordinators. And the biggest problem is they can't stop the run. That's the biggest problem they have, is run defense. So how many years now? Okay, he's got 4 years in and 52 sacks. 13, 13 and a half, 14 and 12. Tackles look pretty good. Best year being his first year, 84. He was more involved in the run game then, not so much pass rushing back then. Remember, he got discovered as a pass rusher because of injuries that they had back in the day there in 21. AP first team twice. Defensive Player of the Year rookie once. He's been in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year numerous times. He's 25 years old. And yet, during that time, you want to hear a significant number? He's never elevated the defense as an average higher than 19th in overall total defense. Every year he's been in Dallas, they've averaged 19th. Okay? Last year they were 28th against the run. And I made this point to you a couple days ago. You can say whatever you want about Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns being a shitty organization. He still elevated that defense to the number one ranking with Jim Schwartz. He did his part. They had the top-ranked defense 2 years ago with him being on that team. That's all he can control. He can't throw it, he can't catch it, and he doesn't run with it. But what he can do is impact his defense. And he impacted his football team to the point where the Browns had the number one ranked defense in football. Good coaching, good scheme, putting him in effect. Okay? And Sig goes like this. That's not all Parsons. Agreed. Just like, wait a minute, Sig. So then you would agree that if the Bills don't win the Super Bowl or the Bills don't win in the playoffs, that's not all Allen either, right? If you're going to use that metric on Parsons, you're using it on Allen and Dak too, right? Right, Dak? Right, Sig? To be fair, it's not all on Dak either, right? Is that right? If we're going to, yeah, okay. Yeah, of course, okay. So you're one of the guys that actually has some clarity. Okay. I got it. You're right. Mishandling of the draft. Mozzie Smith was terrible. It's been a shitty pick. Their quarters are overrated, out of position. And that's not all on him. However, I think he's okay against the run. And every time I watch him against Lane Johnson like makes that guy into Casper the Ghost. If you're an elite ball player, don't you have elite games against elite ball players? My reference is Taylor, since everyone wants to compare him to Lawrence Taylor and using the words generational. That guy is so not near that dude. Taylor had games against legendary teams like the 49ers, the Bears teams, those Eagle teams. He used to make those quarterbacks like Randall Cunningham target practice, changing ball games. I told you this. Lawrence Taylor in his first year as a rookie was not only the rookie defensive player of the year, he was the league's best player. He won the defensive player of the year award in his rookie year. And he would go on to win it 3 more times. He's an 8-time first-team All-Pro and 10 times All-Pro. He's the last man to win the MVP award on the defensive side of the football. I mean, this guy annihilated people. Picking people up, changing games. His resume is second to none. And so when you start talking generation, Derek Thomas, he's not in the conversation of. Dude, there was a guy by the name of Pat Swilling back in the day who won the Defensive Player of the Year award. Played with Vic. Let me see that. I think Vic coached this guy. Former Saints linebacker Pat Swilling played under and was coached by Vic Fangio from 86 to 95 and part of the Dome Patrol with Swilling, Jackson, and Sam Mills. So here, let me make a point to you about, again, this is Michael Parsons. Okay, here's Pat Swilling, who was coached by Vic. Okay? NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 91. First team All-Pro 4 times. Pro Bowler 6. Saints Hall of Fame. And how many sacks? 107 in his illustrious career. And he was a good player. He's not one of the big-name guys you know of. That guy was a great football player. As a matter of fact, on that Dome Patrol, 2 other guys went to the Hall of Fame, Mills and Ricky Jackson. 2 other guys went to the Hall of Fame, and those guys never won the Defensive Player of the Year awards. And that was Vic's, that defense and those linebackers. I played against that Saints team when I was with the Bucs. The linebackers he had in Baltimore or Philly when he was with the Stars were fucking great. So again, back to Parsons. Like when you see Micah Parsons, do you see Charles Haley as a pass rushing force? I mean, do you see Charles Haley? Remember something. When Haley came to the Cowboys, they had won 6 ball games. When Haley left, they won 2 more Super Bowls. Do you really see Charles Haley? When you see Micah Parsons, you see Charles Haley. I don't see Charles Haley. I don't. I think he's a really good ball player. Okay? I really do. Like really good. But do you see TJ Watt or Myles Garrett? I mean, would you trade Nick Bosa for him? I mean, there you go, Ryan. Can always tell brains here. Haley won 5 Super Bowls. Charles Haley won 5 Super Bowls. Awful career. And he owns a gold jacket. Like it. Guy owns a gold jacket and 5 Super Bowls. Not too bad. Won 3 in Dallas and 2 in San Francisco. No, 6'4". And he came out of a small school, an HBCU school too, by the way. Generational talent, winning ring. No, not winning rings. Winning rings does not make you a generational player. That is not. That's a team accomplishment. Here's a generational player that didn't win. And OJ's a generational player. Dan Marino's a generational player. Anybody that changes the game. Those are guys who, like Lawrence Taylor won and changed the game. That's what made him different. Okay? Those are generational guys. Like Larry Fitzgerald is a really good football player, but did he change the game? No. He did not change the game. People call Parsons a defensive end like he's a 43 defensive end. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker. In Vic's system, he'd fit perfect. Well, why? Because he rushes the passer? Vic got rid of a guy that was a pass rusher when he first got here in Reddick. To me, I think the guy that fits the system better for Vic are guys that set the edge. You didn't have high volume pass rushers last year. And you were the number 1 ranked defense. Why? You set the edge. You pressured, but you had guys who could play in multiple fronts. Who was the guy? Nolan Smith had 8.5. That's good. In today's NFL, that's not exceptional. For an edge rusher, Uche's had a 10-sack season. And after a while, he was looking for a job. What was the problem with him? He couldn't set the edge in New England. That's why they dumped his ass. Do you understand that? It's not that he can't rush the passer. That's what happened with Bryce Huff. It's not that Bryce Huff can't rush the passer. Bryce Huff can't set the edge. And that's why he was getting washed down into traffic, and Vic was pulling him and starting BG after a while. Do you rank Montana over Marino? Absolutely. Joe Montana was the best quarterback I've ever seen. And remember, that first Super Bowl, there was no Jerry Rice on it. There was no Roger Craig. There was nobody of any significance. And Joe Montana never played with a Hall of Fame offensive lineman in his entire career. Not one. No, I said not good enough. No, I think that's okay. I don't think that's exceptional. For an edge rusher in today's NFL, that's not exceptional. That's exceptional for a defensive tackle. If you want to be one of the elite guys in the game and you want to make north of $25 million, you got to be north of 10. My opinion. Dwight Clark, he's no Hall of Fame guy. He was a good ball player. I'll start adding things to players that were not in that conversation. Yeah, well, okay. Montana's the best thing I've ever seen. Never threw a pick in a Super Bowl. Had 140 quarterback rating. Had 13 touchdowns and no picks. And was 4-0. And he beat Elway and Marino in the Super Bowls. And he crushed them, actually. They were never close. Randall's one of the better defensive tackles that have played. High-energy guy. Really a Super Bowl player. And by the way, I don't believe he was drafted. John Randall, and I think they had another guy up there. If you guys remembered by the name of Keith Millard. Keith Millard was a freaking hell of a ball player. And they had a bunch of good – there was a really good front seven in that Minnesota team back in the day. And Keith Millard, if I'm not mistaken, was the Defensive Player of the Year one season. And John Randall, I think, was on that team, if I'm not mistaken. High-energy guy, not the biggest guy, a 6', 6'1" guy. Really a great ball player. Just high energy. As a matter of fact, I think he made the all-time NFL team, and Sapp didn't. Just to show you, I always thought Sapp was better than him, and Randall never won the Defensive Player of the Year award. So, I mean, Tom Brady beat everybody in his era. Your mom era, your dad era, your grandpa era, just the facts. Except when it came to losing to Nick Foles and Eli, right? Montana's not losing to Eli. Montana's not losing to Nick Foles. That ain't happening. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. Yeah, he ain't losing to that. And plus, he had Bill Walsh, the creator and architect of the West Coast offense. Okay, I mean, yeah, I think John was up there. Mike Tice went to school with me at Maryland my freshman year. Mike and John Tice were, I think John's the older brother. And Mike played with me and Boomer my freshman year at Maryland. Know Mike very well. Mike's a hell of an offensive line coach. And really a great dude. And that was Boomer Esiason's tight end at the University of Maryland. So, yeah, I mean, really a great coach. I told that story of Corey Stringer and broke the dude up. I mean, I remember being on the air. I had a stupid-ass guy with me, and I remember saying this when Corey passed. And he didn't pass away right away. It was over heat exhaustion. I think I've told you guys this story before. I went like this. The guy comes in and he goes like this. You got to be tough. And I'm like, yeah, be careful about heat exhaustion, guy. Sure enough, he passes away the next day. Guy come rolling in going, oh, my God, how did you know? I go, you think those guys are just not going to show up and faint on the field? There's something wrong with the guy. Sure enough, the next day he passed away. Corey Stringer's death, in my opinion, has saved thousands of lives. I'm surprised more people haven't died that way. Back then, they didn't give water out. If you ask for water, your coach will hit you in the head with the water bottle. You didn't ask for water then. No fucking way. You're not getting water. I mean, now you get it anytime you want. Before, there were periods to get water. Honestly, you could look at your schedule. You could see water, like water periods. Now you could just reach over and grab it. That's new. That shit's brand new. I mean, I would say this last 10 years, where you could just pick up a water bottle and drink and not be worried about your coach giving you shit about it. That's brand new. They had water breaks. Calvin Johnson, Megatron's a top 5 talent ever to play the game. Absolutely. How good would Billy Sims have been? Billy had a knee injury, the original number 20. Excellent ball player. Again, I think Emmett's better than Barry. I'll always say that because Emmitt Smith never had minus yardage when he ran the ball. 10 yards, 7 yards, 9 yards, 28 carries. You look up later on, he's got 152 yards rushing. Never taken any minus plays. When you got a guy like Barry Sanders, you learn to live with minus ball plays. -2, -7, 5 yards, -1, 78 yards. You learn to live with that. And everyone's like, well, Emmett had the better O-line. I keep telling you guys, that O-line was not built by Jimmy Johnson. It was built by Tom Landry. Mark Tuney, Kevin Gogan, Nate Newton, all those guys, like I said, Kevin Gogan, all those dudes were brought in by Tom Landry, not Jimmy. Jimmy brought and drafted Eric Williams, and that ended up the beginning because then Larry Allen would follow after that. But by the way, Larry Allen is more of a, I'll put this out there to you. Larry Allen was a 12th round draft choice that they found at a Humboldt State County university or some shit. The guy was like a 12th round draft choice. It turned out to be the best guard ever to play. Stepnoski was brought in by Jimmy. He was. Bradford, he started the first year I was there. All right, guys, got to pay some bills here. Don't forget, right after the program, Birds 365, John and Xander will give you an update on what's going on today at practice. Don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in the world for a reason. They win. Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast, making sure families in America are protected by Morgan & Morgan. If you're ever hurt, Uber, on the job, anywhere, Do me a favor. You'll make the biggest decision of your life, easiest decision you've ever made by going to Morgan & Morgan. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FOR, thepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
People are missing this thing here on Prescott. Or I should say on Parsons. Look at the signing bonuses that Jerry Jones paid to CeeDee Lamb and to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, his guaranteed money is lower than Trevor Lawrence, is lower than Josh Allen, is lower than Jared Goff. He's making the most annually. Same with CeeDee Lamb. Jerry doesn't want to pay signing bonus money. Eagles do it different. They want to pay the signing bonus money, so they get ahead of it. All right. Stay tuned now for Birds 365. John and Xander will give you the update of what went on practice. We're rolling towards Cincinnati. Looks like the Bengals are going to play Joe Burrow a little bit. Till tomorrow, guys, we appreciate it. 2 to 6. Hit the like button on the way out, and we shall see you on the flip side.